Hi everybody and welcome to our latest bonus podcast. Now this is a very special podcast because we are recording it in Manchester. We're here,
We're not in Manchester.
We're
in Salford.
Salford, sorry, we're near Manchester. This is for the podcast that's due to go out like the week starting the 22nd of August. So by the time you get to hear this, we'll be back home safely in Southampton again. But we thought that we would do a little audio diary thing. And there might be video footage to go along with it if you're on YouTube, just to chronicle our week as we have done in the past. So we've been planning this trip to Manchester for, we kind of always thought that we probably would end up here this week, didn't we?
Yeah.
But it was back in springtime where we booked our place, and as I'm sure a lot of you have seen from the footage that we put on social media, we've got quite a good apartment here, haven't we?
Michael's already trying to see if we can move here to live. But
yes, I'm investigating this now. How do we actually just squat here? What's the rules, please?
I think you'll get turfed out.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, but if you want to buy somewhere.
Yeah, well, we're Tell our dear listeners, if they haven't seen the pictures, where are we right now, Gemma?
We are in Media City. Not just in Media City, are we?
No.
We're in an apartment overlooking the water, not just anywhere, opposite Coronation Street.
We are like dead opposite Coronation Street Studios. It's very, very exciting. And when we were looking on Airbnb earlier this year, we saw this listing and we're like, how can we not book this place?
Well, there was lots of reasons not to book this.
It was a little more expensive than we'd planned to spend on it. But
I just want to say thank you to everybody who supports us, whether that's just through listening, social media, supporting us, retweeting, etc., or Patreon, because it was thanks to you guys that we finally been doing this long enough now that we can afford somewhere in Media City that overlooks the set.
It's
has
so
kind of
cool.
been like what's the word? Kind of like a wish on a wish list for us. We've stayed in lots of places in Manchester and Salford over the years. We stayed quite far up the road from here. Once we've stayed.
I've stayed in the worst hotel in Manchester, just
have?
off Piccadilly Gardens. Remember that one?
We've stayed in. We stayed in that place that was in near.
We stayed in Eccles before, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time we stayed in Eccles. We stayed in that B&B that was in Coronation Street once, remember?
Yeah.
So we've stayed in lots of different places, but this is probably the most exciting place.
This is the swishest, most swanky place, and it took us quite a while to get here because as a cost-cutting measure, we decided to go by coach.
Yeah, rather than go by helicopter.
Rather than just buying petrol to go, which is extortionately expensive at the moment.
Even if you go to Costco.
But yeah, I know. But we left home at what time? 10 to 6 yesterday morning.
Oh, and we had a palaver with
another palaver with the taxi.
Michael does not like the taxi firm. No. But I have to say, the guy who turned up, he was 15 minutes late, but he did speed all the way there, and I've never got to town faster in my life.
Didn't even notice.
Yes.
So yeah, we ended up sitting on a coach, and the coach can't just go straight from Southampton to Manchester. You have to go from Southampton to London, sit around in London for a bit, then go from there up to Manchester. So we didn't get here until, when was it? 5:10?
Can I also just throw out a shout out to the incompetent
travelling
people who work at the Victoria Coach Station who could not organise anything to save their lives, could they?
No, they were pretty useless.
Everybody wanted to go on a coach to Manchester, and then when it was ready for everyone to board, the man stood at the front. He went, "Everyone, can you just listen?" Okay, I don't know what he said still to this day, but there was 2 coaches. There was a coach for a certain sort of person and a coach for another certain sort of person. We got on the first coach. I don't know whether we were in the right place now. Still don't know. But it took us about 20 minutes for everyone to get on the coach because people kept coming on trying to find a seat and they couldn't. I've never been on a more crowded coach. It's because there was the rail strikes.
Fortunately, there was air conditioning because it was another very hot day.
Except when we got on the coach in Southampton, the air conditioning was not on, and it was very, very hot and uncomfortable. And then the coach driver got on and he said, "Oh, everyone, hello, welcome to this service to London. the air conditioning will turn on once I turn on the engine. So I'm just going to go through some safety measures. And someone was like, "Turn on the engine." It was 33 degrees.
Yes.
So sitting on a coach with no air conditioning was not fun. And today it's like 24 degrees here.
Yeah, but it's Monday at the moment, by the way. I don't know whether we said that.
I have suffered. I feel like Oscar Wilde, suffering for my art, being like the princess in the tower, because it's been incredibly hot here. The windows don't really open, and
we've got a nice patio door though, haven't we? A balcony door, which is permanently open now.
But there's like one pane of glass in the whole place that opens. It's very, very hot, and I am just about managing.
So we got to Manchester and we had to get a taxi to go and pick up the keys for our Airbnb, which was about a 15-minute walk away from the place where we're actually staying. Got there, put in the little code on the key box, no keys inside it. So then we had to contact the Airbnb guy and he's like, "Oh, sorry, the cleaner hasn't delivered it yet." So we had to hang around, wait for the key to be given to us. Got to the apartment and it is very, very lovely, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Very swish and modern and new and clean and nice.
The place where we picked up our keys from was like the scariest murder place ever. But it had Sainsbury's, so it can't have been too bad.
So we got in and we did a few tours. We did a little Instagram live. I thought that was quite cool, so we could do the grand reveal because we'd not told anybody at that point where we were actually going to be staying. So exciting.
So this building is called the Lightbox, and it is home to people who have lots of money, who can spend £3,000, I think, for concierge services for the year. Because I looked into the welcome pack for whoever owns this.
They also all have designer dogs, we've noticed, haven't
Everyone's
we?
got designer
lots
dogs.
of Swiss designer dogs here.
So there's lots and lots of apartments here, like 1, 2, 3 bedroom places. This is a 2-bedroom place that we're in. We only picked it because of the location of the balcony, because the balcony is on the seafront, and there are a few other balconies. There are lots of other balconies that sort of face into the other buildings and things.
Even though on the listing it showed this picture of the balcony, even up until the moment that we stepped inside the room, we thought, "Oh, I hope that this guy hasn't got lots of apartments and they've just given us any other one."
There are lots of people that do that, where they just have lots of apartments and it's like a lucky dip. So we came in and it's very swish. We're in the main bedroom, aren't we? Mm-hmm. And it is got a very nice leather headrest and dark green lamps with rose gold tripod legs.
Maria would love them.
Oh, yes, and there's 2 bathrooms, and the second bedroom's got an ensuite bathroom. We don't really know what we're doing, do we? Because you didn't even know what bedroom we were going to be in last night.
We're just trying to find the least sweltering room.
Luckily,
we even had 2 fans on either side of the bed last night. But so outside the balcony we can see. We can see Coronation Street, and it is amazing, but we can't see any filming locations, really, can we? Apart from the place where Amy and Jacob had their little boatside picnic, which is right outside the front of it.
And if you're not familiar with Media City, it's a complex of like restaurants and studio sets and production buildings and stuff for BBC and ITV and various other. I don't know who else is here. But it's full of people who work in the media. So everywhere you go, everyone's beautiful. And also full of people like us gawping about. Like yokels come to the big city for the first time. And Coronation Street, ITV's Coronation Street set is across the water on the same side as the Imperial War Museum. So you need to cross a pedestrian bridge to get there, or get there by car another way. So the big complex has got the tram stop there as well. So lots of people sort of milling around in that bit. But if you want to see Coronation Street, you need to sort of walk across the bridge to get there. But because of where these apartments are, it looks over to the buildings.
Yeah, and we can see the back of the main terraces, can't we, where we are? We can see the big building where the internal studios are. And then opposite the terraces, we can see just the high bits, like the top ends of the brewery. We can see the very top of the factory. We can see Billy's flat window. We can see the very top of the Prima Donna sign and the flat above that. We can see the Weatherfield tram station stop. And we can see the Co-op and the EE store quite well, can't we? So there's any scenes being filmed there this week. Bargain.
So and so on the corner there, you've also got the section you just meant, not the sets.
Yeah. There's like some docks. They also had the confrontation between Corrie and Seb and Nina, and Summer was there, and some of the others as well, weren't they? Before
they filmed
the
that
attack.
part there, and they also filmed Jacob and Amy having their little romantic picnic.
Yeah.
In the Imperial War Museum, I'm pretty sure they did something in their car park there, but I'm not completely sure.
Yeah, you said that earlier to me. I can't remember. You might be right.
In the walkway that takes you towards the road, Trafford Wharf Road, I think it's called.
Yeah.
There was a bit there where
Molly got attacked. Not Kelly. And Nina got attacked
Kelly and Nina,
last year, didn't they?
Well, somebody poured beer.
Oh yeah, was it Kelly got attacked and Nina rescued her?
Yeah.
Something along.
And the steps outside the Imperial War Museum was where they filmed some scenes for a school trip with Matt?
Joseph, yeah.
So
what you can't see is the new precinct being built, because that's right over the other side of the Weatherfield tram stop. So we've got no idea how that's going on. And even when we took a little walk over down Trafford Road earlier today, you still couldn't see very much there, could you?
No, and you can't see you can see a little bit of the visitors centre that they're building, but not quite a lot. So we had a little look at that today. But what you can see is the car park where the staff park, and the entrance, the car entrance, which is sort of meaningless to us because we don't know who drives what.
Yeah.
So we look at a car and we're like, that looks like a fancy car. I wonder who's using that. And we can also see the pedestrian entrance, so we can watch who's coming in and out.
Which has been surprisingly few people today, hasn't it? I had a look this morning at some cars arriving, and I think the car park that we can see is like the cast and the crew, production staff kind of car park. I think the cast carry on and park in front of the main offices, which we can't see. So we haven't seen a whole load of Coronation Street people so far, but we did see a few this morning. I was up early, and I'm pretty sure I saw Bill Fellows coming into work, who plays Stu. It's very helpful, Coronation Street people, if you have recognisable hair, and that's how we know it's you. So I saw Bill Fellows there. We think recently we might have seen Lorna Laidlaw, talking of recognisable hair, haven't we?
She has not got recognisable hair, because that hair, for Aggie, she wears a wig. I'm pretty sure I've heard people say that.
Yeah,
I know
Aggie
it's not
hair
her.
is definitely a wig.
I know it's not her real.
But her general civvies hair is bleach blonde.
Can I just say, Lorna
dude.
Laidlaw has got such an amazing style. She's so cool and glamorous.
So we think we might have just seen her half an hour ago. This is the problem as well. Even though we're dead close, everyone's still tiny and ant-sized over the other side of the water, so we think we can see who we're looking at. I think I might have seen Peter Ash this morning arriving. I'm pretty sure I saw Julia Goulding arriving, because there was somebody who looked like her and she had a baby bump, and I think that was her.
I'm pretty sure it was her as well.
And we also, you saw her then, didn't you? You saw what I was pointing at. And then we think we might have seen Gareth Pearce as well leaving. Because what you'll also get is people sitting outside that pedestrian entrance, like looking for autographs or photographs or whoever. So we're from our balcony, we can see people sitting there, and then people will come out the back gate, and if those people sitting there stop them, we go, oh, that must be somebody on the cast.
I think I'm going to call them the Canaries, because they are the early warning system.
They are. And so that one that we think was Gareth Pearce,
I'm sure that was Gareth Pearce.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I'm really
I thought he was on holiday, but
because I saw him on the bridge as well, and I think he spoke to somebody there.
Yeah.
And we also saw Adam Hussein, and I know that was him because we ran downstairs.
Well, we saw him coming out and stopping, and we needed to go because we were going to go visit the Imperial War Museum this afternoon anyway. So we thought, let's try and get down there. And so we got to this end of the footbridge, and he was just coming down. He had his headphones on, didn't he? We didn't stop him.
Well, these are my rules. I don't talk to anybody. But I think rules of engagement for Coronation Street stars in Media City in general is they're eating or drinking or talking to somebody, leave them alone. And if they've got the headphones in, they probably don't want you to stop them and talk to them.
No.
If you can catch their eye and give them a smile, you know, maybe. But if they're not looking, if they're deliberately not looking at you and they're listening to something, they might not really want to chat. And don't forget that it's not just being a celebrity snob and not wanting to engage with the fans. Some of them will have been doing like some really harrowing work maybe and have opened emotions and sad, you know, have been really working really hard and maybe stirring up some really dark things that they don't really want to then have the photo. Some of them will though. Some of them will really love it. Yeah. So I think it's down to eye contact.
Yeah, so Adam was just moving through, so we didn't talk
Adam
to him.
Hussein also famously hates Michael.
No, he doesn't.
He does,
you're just remembering back. Oh.
Yeah, so
we've been wasn't thinking at the soap awards when he.
No, I think he was.
Me.
Adam Hussein, snub count 2. That's fine. I don't mind.
The best near miss with a celebrity though was first thing this morning because we used the Too Good to Go app, which is where you can go.
Oh yes, highly recommend.
We were talking about this on the podcast recently, where food that was otherwise going to get thrown away because it's either the end of the day or end of service or whatever,
got too much food
you can go and get it. So we went down to a local Holiday Inn. Which is about 5 minutes away from where we're staying.
5 minutes, it's round the corner.
Round the corner from where we're staying. 5 minutes if you walk slowly. And we walked in and we were going through the lobby and you turned to me and said, "Look who's sitting there." I don't know how you even saw him. And I turned.
Look where I'm going.
This is the rule for walking around Media City. Look up. Generally, as a very introverted. Anti-social person, my eyes are firmly down on the pavement, but when I'm walking in Media City, eyes at eye level, just in case I can see anyone. But yeah, so who we saw in the lobby was Craig Charles, who played Lloyd Mulaney and maybe more famously Lister off of Red Dwarf, and he was sitting there on his phone and was like, "Oh, do we see anything?" So we literally walked right past him. We were about a metre from him, and we went and got our food, and then we were kind of umming and ahhing about whether we should interrupt him or not, and we came down and we didn't.
Michael's a lot cheekier than don't think. If I went to Tesco and I saw my mum and dad, I'd be like, "I don't even bother them." They probably don't want to talk to me.
I just kind of need warming up to being a bit cheekier.
Maybe you need some vodka.
I didn't think the look of Craig Charles was that he wanted to talk to anybody at the moment. Apparently he'd been on BBC Breakfast News this morning, so get rid of the Craig Charles is coming back to Coronation Street reports. It's not happening, sadly. But that was really nice. But
he was wearing Conversation Street orange. He was
wearing an orange top, wasn't he? He was a bit of a hero of mine when I was a little growing up, wasn't he?
Definitely.
I was a bit of a Red Dwarf fan, but I resisted the urge to see him. So still at the end of day 1, well, day 2, I suppose, our talking with Coronation Street, it is nothing. But we hope it's going to change during the week. We haven't got loads of plans for the week, to be honest, have we? We're just kind of going to mill about. We went to the Imperial War Museum today because we thought, why not?
It's free. It's free. It's really good. It's actually really poignant, and I found it was very interesting, affecting in places. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a fun day out. I think you've got to go in there and have a certain mindset. It was very parts of it very harrowing and thought-provoking. Really well done. Really, it took about an hour.
Yeah, hour and a half or so.
It would have taken longer if you read everything. They've got a nice little cafe there if that's what you're into, and a nice gift shop. But because it's so close to the studios, I feel like if you're going to be here anyway, you might as well pop in there for a little bit.
Yeah.
So we went in there.
Yeah, we went there, and then when we came out, that's when we went and had a look down the front of the Coronation Street lot. Now we wanted to go there because they're building the new what's it called, visitors centre around the corner that we can't again see from where we are at the moment. We wanted to see how things were progressing on there. Very difficult to tell because there's big barriers and things up, but every now and then there were some grates that we could look through, but then there were more barriers through the grates. We last saw this back in March when we were here. I need to compare photos because it didn't seem like it had moved on much since then, but I'm sure it has. But I was, to be honest, back in March I was expecting it to be finished by this point, so it's just going to mean we're going to have to come again when it's open.
Well, I'm kind of annoyed because I really vibe with Princess Anne, and I feel like I should have been born the new Princess Royal.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I was Princess Anne, I might have been invited onto the... I think the royals do spend quite a lot of time wearing high-vis jackets and hard hats, and sort of being pointed out things in building sites and maybe planting a tree. I could have done that.
Yeah.
So if I was Princess Anne, I would have been well in there.
Well, we didn't. You're not.
I'm not Princess
and so
Anne.
still
But
not a whole lot to report there.
I was born in Princess Anne Hospital. So does that help?
We were round the front. We could also see kind of the very top of the precinct set, couldn't we? It's still very much scaffoldy and very, very work in progress. So we can't really say anything about it. There was nothing to say. But we hung around the front gates for 5 minutes or so.
Saw some vans, avoided eye contact.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of vans, one of the things that we could spot from our apartment, because they've got a Newton and Ridley truck and a Fresco's truck, and for some reason, both of them left the sets at different points today. So they went out the front gate. I've no idea where they went.
They went for their MOTs.
Do you reckon? You reckon that's
or
right?
servicing, yeah.
I think we might have seen Ed's truck being driven onto Rosamond Street as well. But
yeah,
anyway,
it was basically really fun just watching them drive trucks around a car park.
Yeah, that's kind of
that's the level we've sunk to.
Basically today, but it's still been fun.
It has been fun, and that's why I'm laughing, because we've actually enjoyed it.
We've had a nice time today. We've got a few more plans for the rest of the week. What this isn't going to be, and I guess by the time you're listening to this, you probably know because you'll have seen the pictures, is a massive grand tour of Manchester like we've done in the past and going to see all the old filming locations, because we've kind of already done that just a few years ago, actually. We also haven't got the car, so we can't get around very much. So we're going to be mostly just loitering around Media City. We might go into town, relaxing,
well,
exactly.
Michael, you've worked quite hard. We both worked really hard.
Quite hard. And hopefully we'll have a few more nice stories to tell by the time the week comes to an end.
And so... tonight we're going to go to a hot pot restaurant, but it's not
a Betty's hot pot.
It's not a Mancunian or Lancastrian hot pot. It is Chinese hot pot. So we're going there. Maybe there's footage of us eating hot pot, because if you watch this on YouTube, you might get some bonus footage that you don't get if you just listen. So I always encourage you to go to the YouTube channel, and if you would like to help us out a bit further, please do feel free to subscribe.
Oh, damn it, you sell out.
Because it helps us.
No,
Everything helps
really
us. Listen, engagement, you think it doesn't really matter, and who cares? Actually, to people like us, it does matter, because follows and likes and engagements and replies and subscribers, these are things that people look at when they're trying to decide, are these people worth my time? Should I engage with them and help them to do something? Yeah. So the more people we can get to jolly us along is always useful. So we're gonna.
I think that's going to be the end of our first couple of days report. We might do another one tomorrow or Wednesday, but we'll see what happens next. It's a little bit of music or something. Hello everybody, it is Wednesday morning now. We've been in Manchester for another couple of days since our last recording. We've had a lovely time, haven't we, so far?
Yes, we have.
And pleased to say as well that the temperature has dropped. It's a little bit cooler and more overcast now, which is better for the both of us, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. We've just been having a nice time. We enjoyed our hot pot. Did it live up to your expectations?
It was very nice, because I got to try some things that I would not normally be able to buy.
Yes.
Because you don't like them.
Yeah, well, I don't like seafood, do I? So you got to have a few seafood bits.
I had some little clams.
Yes.
And we had some tofu skin.
Uh-huh.
And we had some tofu rolls. And what else did I have?
We had some sweet corn.
Sweet corn. I've never had sweet corn in a hot pot.
So that was all lovely, and then we came home, and it was a beautiful sunset on Monday evening, wasn't it? And you did a little video. We can probably just looking at it right now if you're on YouTube, of the sun setting. You time lapsed it, didn't you?
I'm obsessed with time lapse.
The time lapse is now Gemma's thing, because we did a time lapse last night of the sun setting over the set, didn't we?
Yeah.
Did another one this morning.
Yeah.
It's quite a cool little feature of your camera. Mine does mine do it?
Probably
mine.
You've
got a better camera than anyone.
The reason I like time lapse is because if you film me on time lapse, it looks like I'm quite energetic, and I do lots of stuff, but.
So what did we do yesterday then? Well, I got up and I was doing a little bit more celeb spotting from out the window. You really can't see very much. There was one cool bit where a whole gaggle of cast members came out of the Rosamond Street bit by the hardware store, and they all kind of paraded down the backs of the terraces and then down towards kind of Viaduct Street way. And I definitely saw Aggie Bailey dressed up. I can say that because rather than Lorna, because she was definitely in costume with her Aggie wig on, and Molly Gallagher was there again with the blonde streaks at the front. I don't know who else was there. I couldn't tell from that far away, so that was pretty cool. And so then we went to go meet Michael Adams in the morning, didn't we?
Yes, we did. It was really
Very
good.
lovely
It
chat.
wasn't well. It started off in the morning, didn't it?
We had a really long meeting.
Yeah,
It was great.
it was lovely.
When we went about 11 o'clock.
Yep.
Now Michael, if you don't know, is a Coronation Street fan who kind of is rising through the ranks to become somebody who worked at Corrie for a little bit.
Yeah.
He now manages some bits to do with the Coronation Street and Emmerdale tour.
Yeah.
And he's just a big old Corrie fan and
He's
is
great.
close to quite a lot of the cast. So we
Yeah.
just had a big old chat.
He's
He's
lovely
listened to the
still,
podcast
yeah.
for years as well, and he's a member of our Facebook group. So hello, Michael.
He's really good fun, and he was so chatty, and he had some great stories as well.
He's very, very chatty.
He knows what's going on.
He should do his own radio show or something.
He
That's what I
might get some
do an
traction with that.
Yeah, no, he was such a really lovely guy, and he's in his early 20s, isn't he? But we both came away feeling that he had an awful lot more life experience than we
definitely.
did.
He's been doing the same thing for 20 years.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, he told us stories about. We've also mentioned Mark Llewellyn, who's another big, important Coronation Street fan, and he's
he was a fan.
Well, he's also
Expert.
a Corrie expert, and he's been very close with a number of the cast over the years. And Michael is friends with him, and he talked about some of his stories, which we cannot share on the podcast. And we talked about Corrie. We talked about housemates and Michael's various housemates over the year and over the years and just that really. When we were there, he said that we went to Costa, and he said that Chris Gascoigne often comes in, doesn't he? But he didn't come in when we were there. But we did see Bill Fellows walk past while we were sitting, and James Craven is the actor who plays Aaron, just kind of walking past.
He looks so much older.
Who did?
Than he's on screen.
James Craven. Oh yeah, at least 8 weeks older.
Yeah.
I would say all of them.
He's had his birthday since, isn't he?
Oh yes, James Craven has had his 21st this week. Happy birthday.
Yeah, so he looks 20 on the TV, but in real life he looks 21.
So it was just really, really, really nice, really. And it felt like it was never going to end, in a good way though. But it was about 3 hours or so that we were sitting.
We were there for 3 hours.
We had 2 drinks in those 3 hours.
Well, yeah, because we got to keep Costa in business. Otherwise, who knows what will happen.
And then once we'd finished chatting with Michael, we went over. Do we come back to the flat for a little bit?
Had a sandwich.
Had a sandwich back at the flat, and then we went off to the shopping.
We got our sandwich from that general store, didn't we?
Yeah,
it was
downstairs.
Quite nice. So I had what did I have?
You had
Southern fried chicken one.
Oh yeah,
and you had a barbecue toasty, but my sandwich was so big I had to cut it into 3 bits.
You're still going with it, aren't you? There's still some of it left. Then we went over to the Lowry side of Media City, so just by the actual Lowry Theatre itself, where they've got a shopping centre, haven't they? Little mall place, which we wouldn't have mentioned otherwise, apart from the fact that they've got a stall set up with Coronation Street bits and pieces on there, and it's basically an advert for Coronation Street the tour, and you go up the escalator, and we weren't expecting to see this at all. In one of the windows there's a load of big Coronation Street photos from over the years.
It's like a photo gallery, and then in front of it are like props.
Yeah. So that most of the props are things like what are they called? Not sandwich boards. Yeah, to go outside prima donna and streetcars. There was also like a road sign saying, "Watch out! There's been a tram crash."
Witness appeal: tram crash on the 6th of December 2010. A tram crashed onto Coronation Street from the viaduct.
Yes.
Can you help?
What else was there?
There's also. There was a phone on the wall from the Rovers.
Oh yeah, an actual Rovers phone.
There was this professional billiard tournament sign.
From the Rovers as well.
There's Prima Donna sign. There's Audrey's sign, which is old now.
It's really cool. I had no idea
Barlow's
that was
Buys.
there, but that was nice. We went there because we had to pick up an Amazon package from the post office there.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see it.
Yeah.
So we did that.
Then we went back to the apartment.
Oh yeah, because we had planned that evening to go to dinner with Sally Ann Matthews and Adam Blease, who played Jenny and Dirk off of Coronation Street, and I was like, 7 o'clock we meet.
But on the way, we dropped in at the Alchemist, didn't we?
Oh yes, we did go to the Alchemist.
Michael, do you know what would be quite good?
For now.
I said,
that one.
I think you should buy me a drink at the Alchemist, and you went, when? And I was like, right now.
Right now, we're going
and
back
then
to
you
go
said,
faster.
well, you've got my wallet, so you can buy yourself whatever you want. And I was like, that's a stupid thing to say.
You remember that? Yeah, so the Alchemist is a fancy bar.
This is where they sometimes have their leaving do.
Yes, they often have cast sort of parties and drinks there. It featured in Coronation Street once. Didn't Sophie Webster go for a job there or something?
They were
It was
sorry,
called something else.
you don't need a clipboard to work at the Alchemist.
Yeah, but we both had fancy cocktails, didn't we?
You had, what did you have, bubble bath?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, no, I had bubbly gum. No, yours was called a bubble bath. Mine was called bubbly gum.
Yeah, so you
and
had
it
an
did taste of
non-alcoholic
bubblegum
one,
flavour.
and it was really cool. You got like the smoky, steamy.
Yeah, they put dry ice in it,
It's
don't they?
fun,
I've never had anything like that before. It was very
good.
fancy.
Yeah, it
It was
was.
very nice.
I was like, if I drink this, am I going to die because of the dry ice?
It was a
Might
bit of a
lodge in my
witch's
throat
brew.
and like burn through my flesh or something. But as you can tell,
It was jolly
I'm still
tasty.
alive. Yeah.
Very, very tasty. Then
So-
we went back to the flat
Yep.
to get things ready to go and meet
Well, I
Sal
had
and
to have a
Adam.
shower because I was.
No, you had to have a shower,
stinking
didn't
heat.
you? And this was about, 4:30 or so, about when we got
Yeah.
back there.
Yeah.
And then I
And
just
luckily, normally I'm procrastinator because I hate showers more than anything in the world. I hate them so much. Daily showers, I feel like it's such a waste of time. It's boring as hell. I don't
have a
like
good
getting
shower.
wet as well because I'm already damp most of the time. I hate washing my
Not
hair
even your
because
own
it's really
sweat.
long because I can't bother to cut it. So just really normally put it off for hours. But this time, serendipitously, I went straight in. Came
Yeah,
out.
you got out just before 5, and
Yeah.
by that time I was kind of looking out for people going in and out of the gates.
Because I thought,
again.
Michael can have a couple of hours of staring at people and telling me when the Rovers return.
Yes.
And
I
I keep saying
haven't-
Rovers return.
Yeah,
but I
near
don't mean
Ridley.
that, yeah.
And then I saw Adam and Sal coming out, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Maybe they're gonna, go off home before they have a meal with us." And I texted Adam. I was like, "Hello, we think we just saw you coming out the gate." And he was like, "Yeah, that was us." And then 5 minutes later, he was like, "Where are you?" And I said, "We're just in our flat. We just saw you talking to some fans outside the gates." A little bit later came. He's like, "Are you coming down?" I was like, huh? And then I looked at the messages that we'd sent between each other a few days ago, and it wasn't 7 o'clock that we were supposed to meet up. It was actually 5 o'clock. And by this point, it was
It was
about
like
10 quarter past 5. And I was like, Gemma, we gotta go now.
And I was
And
like,
luckily, you were ready to go pretty much, weren't you? You were dressed and everything, and your hair was up.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so we kind of dashed
Just
out.
ran downstairs with wet hair.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
and then we met Adam and Sal on the bridge, and they were both like pointing at their wrist, going, "What did you call this?" Like,
Yeah,
sorry.
got told off.
It is definitely my fault, and
Yeah, it's your fault.
Yeah, it was absolutely 100% my fault, but they were very, very nice about it, and we had hugs, and then we walked up to Pizza Express to have our dinner.
Yep. We were just saying the other day we haven't been to Pizza Express for ages because the one in Southampton.
Yeah, and Adam
closed
suggested
down,
that, so that was really
So we
nice.
had lovely pizza.
Yes, and we
Polenta fries.
I mean, that was for about 2.5 hours. We stayed and we stayed and we stayed, and we just chatted and gossiped and laughed and had a really, really, really lovely time. And we'd not met up for 2 years, I think, maybe.
Probably not.
So we had an awful lot to catch up on.
Yeah.
And we talked Corrie stuff
Talking
and,
about
and,
what
and life stuff.
storylines that we like that are happening and who's good on the cast and what
Yes.
fun things are coming up, maybe hinting.
Well, we
like, can you guess?
There were
Well,
a couple
no
of spoilers dropped.
Oh.
A couple of very, very minor ones dropped. Adam mentioned something that's going to happen, I think, on tonight's Coronation Street. It's like, everybody knows this, don't we? I was like, no, I didn't know that. But it didn't matter. It was very, very nice. We had a lovely time. We went outside afterwards and got some photos taken. Adam was like, "Oh, maybe we should go here. Maybe we should go here. Oh no, there's horrible backgrounds behind there." And you were saying, "I don't want to get in a photograph." And we took some in various places, and then we headed back.
See,
off.
I'm the photographer, so
You are the photographer.
don't
Someone
hear
is going to
about-
be the photographer.
you don't hear about like David Attenborough isn't in his movies like talking about what he does
He is
in the morning
sometimes.
to eat. No, but he doesn't observe his own behaviour. Like, here I am in my kitchen eating my breakfast. Solitary human male now going to the toilet in his bathroom. So just as he doesn't,
No,
I don't take photos of myself.
No, and when people offer, you politely decline.
I say no thanks.
No photos, please.
I'm like a proper celeb that way.
We got back and we we took this is when we took the time lapse picture of the sun setting over Coronation Street.
No, you keep saying that, but it was not the sun setting.
Well, just it getting
because
dark.
The sun sets in a completely different.
Yeah, it got dark over Coronation Street, and we watched a bit of The Walking Dead.
They didn't think about the romantic image of the sun setting over Coronation Street when they put the set in. Mm-hmm. So they would have aligned it differently, wouldn't they? They
would.
Yes.
So that was it, and it was nice and cool. It still took me ages to go to sleep last night for some reason, but now it's Wednesday, and we're gonna see what we can see today, really, aren't we?
Yep.
So
you'll find out now because we're going to cut to what
we're going to cut to what we've done next. So we're going to go and do it now. So we'll see you on the other side. Hello everybody, we're back for part 3. It is, what day is it now? Thursday. Losing track of time. It is Thursday afternoon at the moment, so we're here to tell you all about our fairly eventful Wednesday. I was a little bit coy on the last recording, saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to see what we're going to get up to," because when you got something big that's planned out for a day, you don't. No, I didn't want to jinx it. It's like, it could all go wrong. But we had a very, very, very great Wednesday.
The older I get, the more superstitious I am, because of all of the superstitious things I've done, have resulted in averting complete disaster. So it must be working.
Well, Wednesday started off with a really nice encounter with Corrie fan Brian outside the gates.
Famous Brian, who I think you guys will know if you're on Twitter, because
Brian Altman.
Yes, he has his how many people has he met now? He was
106, 107.
He has he is a long-term Corrie fan. He was showing us videos of his flat with all of his merch.
Yes, it certainly puts our Corrie wall to shame, doesn't it?
I know. I think he was like, "Listen, guys, I know you think you've got a wall of Corrie." He was so nice, really friendly, really nice. And we also got to meet Amber, didn't we? We got to meet a few fans when we were there. Matt.
Yeah.
Laura.
Yeah. I think that was it. There might have been more. I can't remember. Sorry if we forgot any of it. It was very, very lovely. And we hung around for about half an hour, was it? 45 minutes or so. And we did a bit of Corrie trivia. And
that's right. Yeah.
Oh, and
Paddy.
Paddy, and Shelley. We saw Paddy, Bever and Shelley King. Shelley King, I want to say first, because she's obviously done a lot with the podcast already before, and we saw her coming over the bridge, and it's always nice when they recognise me as well. She's like, "Oh, it's Michael," and so she came and had a chat with me and you, didn't she? You'd met Shelley as well before, hadn't you? That wasn't your first time.
I think so.
Pretty sure it was.
Can I just say one thing that's really weird, and I think it works both ways for people that listen to the podcast. When you see someone on the screen all the time, even though they're playing a character, when you see them, you think you know them.
Yeah.
And I also get I know myself from listening to podcasts, where you get kind of really involved in, like, enjoying listening to the host. You kind of feel like you know them too. And so sometimes when I meet someone, I'm like, oh, we both know each other, even though we really don't at all. It's really odd.
I want to say that Shelley's hair was very nice when we met.
I didn't tell her,
but I thought it.
Can I say the same thing? I didn't say anything to her, but she looked amazing. She had beautiful hair. She had her makeup was all done. I think it's because she had been in, hadn't she? And she popped back out to get her jacket because it thought it was going to rain. And can I also just say, excuse me, Salford and Manchester, you've let me down. I've been here for how many days? 5 days now, and this is the first time it's rained properly.
It's now raining
I was
as we're
promised
recording this.
wall to wall rain and cold, and I have had none of it. And I've come from Southampton, and I was looking forward to proper weather because I am very much of the bleak and cold. That's my home.
You like a nice cold summer, don't you?
Yes,
well,
I do.
This episode should be going out, a week or so after we record this, so I can now say that we did ask Shelley King about where her and Jeff got married, which was the quiz question on the Cast vs Fans quiz last week that she couldn't remember. She got it in the end. She had a few hints, but I'm not giving her an extra point now. Now it's a week late. But I was like, Shelley, what's the place? She's like, oh, it's the place in the desert. What is it?
I love her
and she
so
got
much.
it in the end. She's so lovely.
I love her.
She went inside, and then a little bit later we saw Paddy Bever coming out, and who plays Max, new Max. He was really nice as well, and he chatted with Brian for a bit and the others first, and then we introduced ourselves. We said who we were, and he's like, oh, you do the podcast?
Didn't he say, oh, you slagged me off?
No, he said something like, I listened to a few episodes when I first started. I think he might have said that we were criticising him. I can't
Only in a funny way. He was like, "Oh, you guys."
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
But that's fine.
He was nice. He was so pleasant.
We don't mind that at all.
One of the things that Sally Ann Matthews and Adam Blease had said the other night was they picked out Paddy particularly about what a nice guy he is in real life, and he's really, really, really lovely. Just, we spoke to him for 4 or 5 minutes or so, but he was very, very charming and nice, and not at all like that horrible old squirt bag.
I did tell him he was horrible.
He did, didn't you? I said he's doing a great job now, and we've got a photograph of him.
Well, I would hope that we make it clear that when we record that everything we say about the actor's performance of a character is just... Paddy Bever, it's gone up in my estimation as a performer because he was really nice.
He was very lovely.
And when he snacks, he's really horrible.
So we did that, and I'm just going to go a bit of off chronology for the moment because this morning, I know, this morning we saw him filming a scene out by the fresco wall. So if you've seen our pictures over the balcony, you can see where the fresco's adverts are.
Can I just say, hang on, bub, 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 bub.
What?
Spoiler alert, bub, 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 bub. They have Halloween posters up. Now, I don't count this
fresco Halloween posters.
I don't count this as a spoiler because you can see this.
No.
In public.
I watched, just
and
also, on the tour.
Also, not a spoiler, that this year, on the 31st of October, will be Halloween. So, not a spoiler.
But on Coronation Street? I don't know what day of the week it is. Anyway, so I woke up this morning and I saw that some of the bits were set up. I'm going to be very vague about this because I don't want to spoil it. But there were some bits there that clearly indicated they were about to do some filming, so we kind of stayed and watched a little bit. And it was Paddy Bever and a couple of other cast members were out there and they filmed a scene, so that was quite cool being able to watch it from afar.
It's really, because we recorded quite a lot, didn't we, watching what they were doing, and I don't think we can use this footage and put it anywhere until...
No, I don't think so, until after it's out.
Really don't want to spoil anything for anybody at all.
No.
Even though, if anyone, if we were anybody else, we could put it online, couldn't we?
Yeah.
But that was really fun to watch.
That was fun, just say. But it wasn't the first filming that we had seen this week. Because that was the main event on Wednesday. Oh, we had coffee with Georgia Taylor, didn't we? After we saw Bride. Didn't forget you, Georgia.
No, she's going to be there going, what the hell, guys?
We organised a little Costa coffee trip with her, and she came out because she'd been doing something in the studio.
Yep.
And we met her, and then went and had a coffee, and we had a chat about things, and that was lovely.
And then when we walked round, we were loitering, weren't we, along Trafford Wharf Road.
Yeah.
And suddenly this car's like beep beep beep, and I was like, oh no.
Oh yeah. Then when we went back to
what's happening?
Yeah, we got honked at on Trafford Wharf Road. It was Georgia Taylor.
Yeah, she's like, ah.
That was after, because we went back to the set and she went in the back gate and we carried on going around the front, didn't we? And she was just getting a car to leave. So that was cool. Getting honked at by a celebrity.
I know. I said to Michael, I was like, how many times has somebody come out of the set here and honked at somebody just loitering? It's like, are we the first? I don't know.
So, we went round the front because we had a very special meeting booked with Alison Sinclair, who's the senior Coronation Street publicity manager.
She is all-round Corrie legend.
Yeah, she's been working on the show for a jolly long time, hasn't she?
She's been there for longer than a lot of the cast members, hasn't she?
Oh yeah, longer than a lot of the cast members have been alive. Never mind how long they've been working there.
I don't think she'll thank you for that.
No, she's very senior and awesome.
She is very senior.
But the backstory for all of this is last week or the week before, I
just want to say senior as in rank.
Yes. A couple of weeks ago, I messaged Matt Hilton, the director, because I'd seen that he was doing some work on Coronation Street last week, I think. And I said, are you still going to be about? Are you going to be in Media City when we're up? Because we could have a meet up for a coffee or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, I'm not scheduled to be in, but actually I am going to be doing a little bit there to cover for somebody. So yeah, that's great. We can have a meet up. I was like, brilliant. That'd be nice. And I kind of left it a few days. I was like, and I was like, so shall I? And then I sent them a text message saying, I don't want to be. You can call me a cheeky git if you want, but can we come and see you doing a bit directing maybe? And
don't ask, don't
long
get.
story short, exactly. Long story short, he asked the people that needed to be asked, and we were allowed to go into the studios to go and see some stuff. So Alison Sinclair arranged to meet us. We went round the front, said to the security guard, we got an appointment with Alison Sinclair.
No, we said,
we said we're here to see Ali Sinclair,
exactly.
didn't we?
You got an appointment.
Like...
No, we're just saying names.
And we said, yes, we do. And he let us through, and he's like, oh, you know where you need to go, don't you? Like, yeah, we just go to the main office. So we're like completely unchaperoned. We could have gone.
I know, it was really, honestly.
And we were like, don't take a picture of anything. We are their honoured guests.
I know, we didn't dare do, like, for quite a long time. We were very, very good.
Yes,
so
we waited to get permission.
It was a really surreal experience because we've never just been wandering, have we? So we went
off
all the way
lead.
from the main... the leash. We went all the way from the main gate, around past the back of the Coronation Street outside set, past the Tony Warren building.
We basically walked down what we can see out of our apartment window, didn't we?
All the way
past
to
the car park,
the reception,
the backs,
which is Weatherfield General. And if you go inside the reception desk, actually there's a massive map, isn't there? Like,
Weatherfield General map. I took a picture of that, actually.
And so we were like, hello.
Yeah, we spoke to the office, the receptionist, and said we're here to see Alison Sinclair. And then she came down and was like, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you." And she was really, really lovely. We've met her. I think we met her once before.
Yes,
but
we've seen her.
Trips, but yeah, we've seen her
because she goes to the Soap Awards. Yeah, because she has to wrangle all the
time
celebs.
That we chatted with her. We'd exchanged emails over the years and stuff. But it was really, really lovely to see her.
It was so nice, and she gave us a hug. She's so lovely.
She did. She was taking her time out of her schedule for yesterday afternoon to see us. And we were just kind of... They'd just been doing some other press bits earlier that day, which we weren't involved in because I didn't want the spoilers. And as the afternoon went on, we kind of got more spoilers given to us, which we cannot talk about now. But once we finish recording this, we are going to record something while it's still fresh in our heads about the spoilers that we heard about, so that we can release it after they come out on the telly.
How long you have to wait, because that would also be a spoiler, wouldn't it?
It would a little bit.
Just thank us later.
You can probably work it out. So anyway, so
that's a spoiler.
So first thing Alison did was take us round to the new precinct set, which they've been building. That was pretty cool because you can have a kind of little look at it when you do the tour. I think. I guess we'll find out when we do it ourselves on Saturday. But we got to kind of walk inside it and have a proper look round. It's still very much a work in progress. It didn't look. I don't know how these things work. It didn't look like it was close to being finished. But you could kind of see the outer shell of it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
So that was really nice that we got to see that. And then she took us round back. She just took us back around the front and was like, well, where else do you want to go then?
No, she's like, it was like saying,
I don't know.
It's like the owner of a sweet shop saying, what sweets would you like? It's like, all of them, please.
We didn't go in there knowing that we would be getting the big old grand tour, did we? And we didn't want to say, well, can we see, actually we'd like to see inside Ian McLeod's office. So he's like, well, can we see? And she said, oh look, we'll just go and see some of the interior sets. So then she had to look at the call sheets to see which sets were being used and which ones weren't. And we ended up going in to see some of the interiors. So the first one that she took us into was the bistro, which was cool. And for me,
we haven't seen it since it got redone.
No, we haven't been inside the new bistro before, and I always still get my geography of it a little bit wrong. I can't kind of figure out where everything is, and I think I've got it sorted in my head this time. So that was really nice, and it was really interesting for me to see that the kitchen area and Debbie's office are coming off of the main set, because sometimes you walk through a door and then where you walk into is halfway across the studio, but everything there was all joined up. So I had a little poke around in Debbie's office, went into the kitchen, obviously saw the sex fridge, and then Alison said, oh, you can take some photos if you like. And that's when we got our permission. It was like, okay, brilliant.
Here we go. So let's go.
Snap. We found the champagne glasses, didn't we, that you bought some of for yourself.
I know, right. When we went in there, she was like, right, try and be quiet because they're filming somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so I just immediately bolted for the bar to see if I could find these glasses and smacked my bag against a table. And then I was like, oh no, I've ruined everything. And then I got shy, but you went and found them, and you can confirm that they are the same.
Yes, we took a not very good picture of me holding them, But anyway, so we got the glasses. So the bistro was cool. Where did we see after the bistro?
So after that, I think we went to
Just looking through Gemma's phone now.
To Fizz and Tyrone's
house.
Yeah,
that's a proper iconic. Into number 9.
Can I just say, the den of immorality now, as far as I'm concerned.
That was really cool. Just all the many details all over the wall, and the kids' pictures and everything. I mean, that really is a bit of a shrine, isn't it? People say that it's a Mega Jack and Vera shrine. I wouldn't say it is too much, really. It's very much, I would say, Fizz and Tyrone made it their own. But we got to see the bar, didn't we? Which was an original piece of furniture from
that
way
was
back.
Really cool. Yeah, I loved that.
Yeah, got to see what videos they had on their shelves and everything. I sat in Evelyn's chair, didn't I? Because as Alison said, you can take photos with yourselves in as well. I was like, okay, we'll get some of me. So I was like, where'd be a cheeky place to sit? I was like, I'm going to sit in Maureen Lipman's chair. So I sat there with my feet up and got a picture there. Where did we go after that?
Dev.
Oh yeah, Dev's house, number 7. Oh, that was brilliant. And I said to Alison, I think if we were living on the street, this would be one of the houses that I'd want to live in. And she said, where did she say?
Bailey's.
Oh yeah, she said she'd want to live in the Bailey's new house, didn't she?
Like, Bailey's or Sally's
Sally
house.
and Tim or the Nazirs is nice. And that was another one. We hadn't been in that house before when we'd done any set tours before, so it was cool seeing the little details. There was a photograph of Ardy playing golf, and it was Adam Hussein Ardy playing golf, which golf has been nothing to do with the character of Ardy since Adam took over, has it? So they obviously had him pose for some...
Or maybe he plays golf.
Maybe he... Well, this was a picture of... It was fake golf. There was a bit of green and then a golfy background.
Mini golf?
No, not mini golf. But I'll, if you see the YouTube video, I'll put it up here. So that was really nice. I don't think we get any pictures of me in that place.
I want to say that on screen, the Alahan's house looks really, really spacious. But in real life, it's so cramped.
Really jam-packed and cramped. I found that, and we find that and get surprised any time we go and see any of the sets, but it's always a lot smaller than you think it's going to be. Apart from the street, I'm used to that being that size now. I
also want to say that some sets, when you go and you go in there and you're like, oh yes, this is exactly what it looks like, and other ones you go in and you're like, this really doesn't feel like, I can recognise that and I recognise this, but it doesn't feel like the same thing. And Dev's was really like that. I was like, wow,
well, it didn't feel the same.
So different.
I didn't
the
get that
bistro
from
was like
his.
that.
Bistro,
Gary and Maria's house that we got to see at one point, that was very similar. The Rovers, obviously, that looks the same because we saw a bit of that.
One thing that
we got to see quite a lot of the different sets, didn't we?
We did, and quite a lot of them had the fourth wall on it as well. Yeah. And Ali was saying, well, we've got more space now in this place, so more often than not, they do have the fourth wall on. And I think in like Fizz and Tyrone's house, they had that wall that you never, very, very rarely see on the show, and the bits of artwork that they've got up and everything.
One thing that's really interesting about Dev's house is that to the side of, so you've got his dining table, and then to the right of that, if you're the camera, you've got the sofa area. But to the left of that was like an office, and I've never seen that before.
Now, I asked Alison about that, and she said, oh yeah, sometimes you see Dev doing his paperwork and stuff there.
I don't remember that.
I didn't recognise it. It's just like a computer setup, hasn't it?
Goldfish.
Yeah. So we went... Oh, go on.
Yeah.
Next up, we went into the Platt's house. She took us through all the iconic houses, didn't she?
We're so lucky.
So I went and sat up on the stairs because I'd seen that Jack P. Shepherd had put a picture of himself on Instagram a couple of days ago sitting on the top step, and I put myself sitting on the same place as well, just to be cheeky.
Yeah.
So that was obviously a big favourite house of ours because we love the Platts. Got to see all the family photos on the sides and everything. We actually went in through Gail's annex door, didn't we?
We did.
There is no set for the annex, which probably doesn't surprise you because they never film in there. So we just went through a door, ended up in the back of the Platt's kitchen, walked round, and then through to the main living room.
We also got to see number 1, didn't we?
We did get to go and see number 1.
Highly iconic, and I boasted to Alison Sinclair, which is my trivia. Corrie trivia. I always break out to impress people, whether I'm at a party or maybe at the opera or in a restaurant trying to get a table. You know, when it's fully booked, I will always break this out. We used to have the same oven as Ken Barlow.
I know that I claim to fame.
And I don't understand why this is not impressive to some people.
Well, and what was very special about the number 1 set is we actually saw William Roach doing a scene in there.
When I saw it, I felt like I was like in Colorado, right, on a mountain range, and I spotted in the distance Bigfoot. You know, like, here's this mythical, legendary creature of yore. I cannot believe I got to see William Roach performing.
That wasn't one of the performances of the scenes that we've been scheduled to see.
Didn't, like,
we just happened to be walking through.
We were there for like a minute.
With another character, which
but
we
I feel like
talk about for spoiler
it's
reasons.
the same thing like when you see a unicorn. You only see it for a few seconds, and that makes it more
it's
special.
It's a fleeting glimpse, and then it's gone.
And then you sort of galloped away.
Like to go and see the master at work, that was really, really amazing.
I really couldn't believe it. I spent quite a lot of time looking around me, going, "Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Why is everyone so casual?" That's William Roach over there, guys. Why are you just standing around filming him?
So from there, we walked into Sally's house. We did a bit of a
now, see,
we'd been in that one before, hadn't we?
Sally's house, Sally and Tim's house, is massive, isn't it? It's a much bigger set, but like, because of the magic of television, Deb's looks like a similar size, but hers was like really, really nicely decorated. Very
the duck egg blue sofas and stuff, so fancy. That was very nice. And then there was still a picture of Tiny the horse on the side as well, wasn't there? I just love all the details that the set dressers put on.
One thing I really like about the sets is they put so much attention to the detail, and putting, and some things are like really meticulously like planned out and really character centric, but you never see them. Like, for example, there's in
Nick and
Leanne's place, you've got a lot of like jogging stuff, and there's like we didn't see this at the time, but like a sort of silhouette of Nick running. And
I saw that yesterday.
Okay,
it had been moved to a different wall to where it used to be.
But that's really very, very detail orientated. And then you'll go somewhere else and you'll look at the bookshelf, and there's like, why would they have this book? Why would they have this movie? What is this doing here? I don't understand what you're doing. And they just like just shove it in there. No one's going to see this.
It is. It's to do with what people are going to be able to see and point out, isn't it? Then we went into number 11. Ali pointed out the red phone there. They've got an updated red...
True.
With
significance, please.
Well, Elsie Tanner always had a red phone, and since then, who lived in number 11, and since then, number 11 has always had a red phone, but it's apparently a newly updated one, and that's a very purpley kind of lounge there, isn't it? So I blended right into that with the purple top that I was wearing yesterday. Took a photo of myself holding Sean's Princess Diana mug.
I assume it's Sean's.
I assume so as well.
I said it was Sean's, but it could have been anyone's.
Yeah. Looked at the family photos.
I mean, we all love Princess Diana, don't we?
And I think that was it, wasn't it? I think after that, I'm just having a flick through the photos now. Yeah, this is when we then went and saw a scene in the back room of the Rovers being filmed. I'm not going to tell you anything about, what was in it, who was in it, what was going on. We cannot for the moment, but we saw that. That was really cool. Hung around there for about half an hour or so. And then we went to see another scene, and are we even going to say which set? Let's not even say which set it is. So it was in a house.
Obviously an interior set, because we were in the studio.
Yeah, and we ended up watching 4 scenes being filmed there with
we were there
3
for like
actors.
2 hours?
Which one?
To watch those scenes?
It was longer than 2 hours. It was a very
you're
long
right.
time.
You're right.
I would almost double it.
Finished about 8:15, as I recall.
I also recall that.
Yeah.
Yes. Let me tell you why later on. And then so we watched that, and we'll come back to all of this later, because we can tell you a little bit about the technical details that we saw.
Don't worry, we'll spill the beans.
We went back
when we can.
We went back and forth between being in the office with Matt Hilton, the gallery, doing his editing, and being there towards the set, being able to watch the scenes being filmed first.
Are we going to talk about anything technical here?
Yeah, we'll come back to it though. I just want to say, after we'd seen all of those, then we went and had dinner in the staff canteen.
I know. Couldn't believe it.
Recently, Jamie Kenner had said how wonderful it was, and other staff members, I think even Charlie Jamella, said that that's what he's going to miss the most about being in Corrie, didn't he? The canteen. It lived up to its legendary status.
It's really delicious.
I had a delicious pasta bake, ragu pasta bake.
Yeah, beef ragu. I had jerk chicken with fried rice and delicious vegetables. There was also like a fish cake with pancetta and tartar sauce. There was like a chickpea dal curry sort of thing. I can't remember what else there was.
I don't remember. But we sat with Matt Hilton and then had a chat.
He was really nice. He came and sat with us.
So nice. He's obviously been recorded. We've mentioned. We've talked to him. We've interviewed him. That's the word I'm looking for on the podcast before. But this was the first time that we'd actually. No, it's the second time we've met. But once was a passing hello. Outside the Alchemist a few years ago. This is a proper conversation that we had. He was so nice. He was just talking to us about his job and about what he thinks about, about Corrie and various this and that.
I really cannot believe how nice everyone was. Like, genuinely, really pleased and like so generous with their time. Nice. I can't say nicer things.
Yeah.
Nice enough things. Sorry.
Then I put my jumper on because I knew we were going to be seeing an outside scene, and this was 9 o'clock maybe at night. I'm going to say I can't remember exactly.
They were like, "Oh, you guys are going to be cold outside." I was like, "No."
And we were left downstairs.
I wish I would be cold.
Matt left us downstairs for 20 minutes, didn't he, to mill about while he got things ready. So we went to the loo and we had a little look around a canteen.
Hang on, no, we met someone quite exciting.
Oh, we met Colin, the paramedic, didn't we? You're right.
He was great. I loved him. So I saw him. So there's like an area right near the reception, which is where I think the extras hang about, and it's like a little break room, canteeny sort of. It's not canteen. It's got drinks making facilities, isn't it? And so he wandered across, and he's a paramedic, and he had his paramedic outfit on, and I said to him, "Are you a real paramedic? Are you pretending to be a paramedic?" And he's like, "I'm a real paramedic," and I was like, "But are you really a real paramedic?" And he's like, "Yeah, I really am." I was like, "What are you doing here?" And he said that he works on set, so he is a paramedic by day, and by night, quite literally, he comes and he stands around on sets. So he's there just in case anything bad happens.
Drops off or whatever.
Yeah, so he's like done loads of other stuff too. He said one of the things he's worked on is Peaky Blinders, which is really exciting. And he was really nice. We chatted to him for quite a long time, and he was asking us about the podcast and stuff. And he has his bugbear was clocks.
Oh yeah, he said about the clock in Toya and Imran's flat, and the fact that the hour hands never moved round when it should do. So when it was 5:30, I think the minute hand would be on the 6, but the hour hand would be part way, be on the 1 rather than part between
Incorrect.
1 and 2. And he showed us on his phone just a collection of photos of Toya and Imran's clock that was wrong.
In case you think this is a one-off, no. Let me show you the evidence.
But he told us about some of the cool things that he'd done on Corrie before, hadn't he?
He's been in the show because he had to dress up like an undertaker and zip up Jeff Metcalf in his little shroudy thing, because he said at the time, this was during COVID, and there was a restriction about how close you could get. But because he's a medic, he was allowed to get close, and so he was the only one that was allowed to do it. So they dressed him up as an undertaker, and so that's his arm.
I loved his story about how he taught Conor McIntyre how to die.
That's right.
When he got stabbed by Anna Windass, and Colin had told Conor, right, what you need to do is keep your eyes open and stare, and you'll be bleeding out here.
Oh god,
so that was really cool. Yeah.
And he also said that he was involved with the Helter Skelter Christmas
the Winter
things.
Wonderland a few years ago.
He was there for 2 weeks in the freezing and cold.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed talking to Colin, and this is one of the most exciting things about yesterday was we got to talk to lots of behind the scenes crew people, and one thing that I always think when I hear about Coronation Street and they say, "Oh yeah, we're filming this for a couple of hours, blah blah blah," I'm thinking, why? It's 30 seconds on the screen. Why are you there for so long? And now when you watch it, you're like, okay, I completely understand why it takes you so long.
Yeah, I mean, let's go and talk about the technical things that we saw, because we went out onto the street and saw another night shoot. We obviously can't talk about that at all. But actually, what we got to see in the studios, it seemed like it was taking a long time. There was a lot of people sitting around just waiting, wasn't there, while other people scurried around and did their jobs. Well, everybody was there, and I was very struck by how many people were needed for one scene. Obviously, everybody was needed, but there was 20 to 30 people behind the cameras, maybe not 30. All doing various jobs, and you had your boom operators who were kind of sitting on their cranes with the extending arms, weren't there?
Wow.
And
I can say what I observed, and I just want to say we're probably going to say things wrong. We might have interpreted things incorrectly, or memories might be bad. So this is not the gospel truth of what happens, but this is what.
That's our interpretation.
Yeah.
Of what happened yesterday.
when you have your scene, you've got your director, and then you've got the assistant director, and you've got the third, haven't you? Who is also a runner. So that was, I think, I can't remember who.
Jack.
Yeah. So
Jake.
So the director, when we saw our scenes, we have the assistant director and the director in two different places. So depends on which way around they do it. But the director will. So hang on, let me start from the beginning.
Can I interrupt you for a second, because talking about Jack reminded me of somebody very important that we didn't mention, who we mentioned, who we met earlier in the day, did we? We met Jack, who was one of the was it the researcher? Did he say? And we were walking along the car park, that's the hospital car park if you like, and then this person came up to us and said, "Are you Michael and Gemma?" We're like, "Yeah."
Oh God, why?
Yeah, I know. And it was somebody who had been a listener of the podcast. He's like, I got my job because of you. I got my job on Corrie because of you. And I listened to like a whole load of the podcast. And he was like, it was funny. He was really, really sweet. And he was just like really impressed to meet us. Which is funny because he was happy to meet everybody as well.
My immediate reaction, baked into me since I was a child, is that whenever anyone says my name, something's gone wrong or I'm in trouble. So if somebody says, "Oh, are you Gemma?" I'm like, why? What did I do? What's happened? What did I say?
I know. We also met Frankie from the press department as well. She was walking around downstairs. And earlier on, it's all coming back to me now.
Yep.
We met Ben Price in the welcome area as well. We were waiting to go in to see the Rovers scene filming, and Ben had just come in. Did he come from a jog, do you reckon?
Yes, he had, because he said so.
Yeah, and
I don't know if he was lying. I assume he wasn't.
I assume that he does
do
that.
Although, can I just say, I do lie about going jogging. I do it all the time.
Yeah, we've just been back from one now, haven't we?
Yeah.
He Ali called him over and he had a nice pleasant chat with us and shook our hands.
We were like, fellow
nice.
podcaster Ben Price.
You said your rival podcast.
I didn't say rival, did
I thought you did. Yeah, I thought you said, "Yeah, we're your competition."
But he's like, right, you.
Anyway, sorry. So I just wanted to give Jack a call out there. So anyway, go back to, so you got your director. Yeah.
Hang on. So everyone's standing around, and at the very beginning, so I also want to say that every group of people will do something slightly different. Okay. So I'm sure that this is not I don't think there's any such thing as really standard practice, because different actors will be different directors will be different, yada yada yada. But they sort of gather in one part, and I think each set probably has their little huddle area. So they go and they have the huddle area in a certain bit of the set where they look at what the script is, they try to work out what it means and how they're going to perform it and where people are going to stand. Yeah. And they go through all that together, and the director's over there and everyone else is just sort of standing back and watching. And then the actors will sort of move to where they think that they should be, and then they'll sort of try it out and go, "Oh, I don't know if this is right," or "Okay, this I think I'd stay here," or "I'm not sure about this line. What does this mean?" Or
some of them they were looking at lines like, "Oh, what did the writer mean when they said this line? How should I be interpreting that?" That
I get too when we're watching Corrie, and sometimes I do quotes from what happened. Like I'll do a quote of a tweet of it, a quote, because I think it's a really good line. The synonyms make it so difficult to actually remember. Like, did they say, I'm trying to think of something,
dinner or tea? Yeah,
that kind of thing. Which word am I supposed to use here, because you misremember it, so they'll sort of say, "Okay, right, I just need to remember it's this line and not that line." So they'll do that. So, and then they do like a rehearsal, and they do that a few different times when they're sort of trying to work out where we're going to put the camera, or what kind of shot are we going to have here, and how tight are we going to go in, and where the boom operators, I don't think they're called boom operators anymore. I'm
not sure.
But they, with the sound guys, where they're going to put they don't put them in quite yet.
I found the sound thing interesting, because whenever I think of a sound, whatever, I think of the big fluffy grey ones, like you got on Challenge Annika, that sort of thing, which we did get to see on the outdoor shoot, but on the indoors, they've got like these big long fishing rods, haven't they, that just telescope
really
out.
Honestly looks like.
They're moving they're constantly moving.
Yeah, they sit on a platform, and they've got these little round swivel chairs. So they're elevated above everybody else, and the microphones are on a really long, springy, it looks exactly like a fishing rod on the end of that. and they seem like, and they swivel around,
Catching
don't they?
the
And they
words.
kind of bob about above people's heads.
And as the people are moving around on the set, these mics are just following them, going left, right, and all over the place.
It must be really.
And the cameras go up and down as well, and everything's silent. I guess it has to be, but it would make sense. But it still struck me how everything, all the technical bits of equipment that were used, were absolutely silent.
Yeah, so they'll do a couple of run-throughs, and the other thing that was really interesting is how quietly they can speak. You can hardly hear them. They're not. Yeah. I feel like they weren't even speaking as loudly as we are now.
No. No way. One of the actresses that we saw in one of the scenes, there was a lady. Everybody.
There's a lady in it.
Very, very quiet. And at first I thought, is she just doing quiet for the rehearsals? But then even when they did the actual recording scenes, she was just as quiet. And I mean, and you wouldn't be able to tell watching it. Yeah, it picks it up perfectly, because I think, you have to project when you're acting, but they're not doing theatre there, are they?
Well, that must be part of the post-production where all the levels have to be the same. So
and they say these lines over and over and over again. I mean, we saw 4 scenes filmed in this one particular house, and it felt like it was almost 45 minutes to an hour at least for each one, didn't it?
So they'll run through, they do the rehearsal, and they'll sort of get a feel for what they want to do. And the rehearsal will take quite a while. They'll run through it a few times. Maybe if they do, they flub a line or something, they'll say, start again from the beginning. Or they'll say from the top.
Yes.
Which is jargon and lingo, but you guys wouldn't understand what that means, so I won't use that on you.
What was it they said when they were ready to film?
We're at speed.
That
don't know what that means still. I don't think that's what it means.
I don't know.
And also it was quite funny because there was assistant director and director. So Matt was the director and Mark was the assistant director.
Yeah. And
they weren't in the same place. But Matt didn't say action, he said cut, and Mark said action.
Yes.
See, so we're jumping around all over the place. So when they do all that, they do the rehearsal, and then the director, in our case, came into the gallery. And the gallery, there's 3 different ones. There's the sound one, the lighting one, and the director's one. And we were in the director's one, so we got to see what was going on. We had Matt and Grace, and they were both there. And they've got there were 2 cameras. There was Keith and Liam, and they were both the cameramen for the day. So in the booth, you could see the feed from both cameras, but you could also see that there were 4 cameras, and the top 2, well, some of them could play back and some of them were live. So I just thought it was funny that Grace would say we're at speed, and then Mark outside in the set would say action, and then when everything was finished, Matt would be like cut.
And it wasn't cut like you see in a film. I don't go cut. It's just like cut.
Cut,
just gonna say
cut
it,
there. Yeah, it was that's the other thing. It was so super casual, but everyone was so professional as well.
But they were also kind of having jokes with each other as well in between takes.
There were
some of the actors kind of dancing around or joking or having a bit of a banter with each other. And Matt having a bit of a banter with whoever he had on the other end of his microphone.
But they could also switch on being super serious when they were like, okay, I don't think this is working out. Let me just see what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
So it was really fascinating to watch. It
was really, really interesting.
People work. So anyway, so they do the rehearsal. Then they will do the proper recording, and everyone's got to be completely quiet. But the one thing that's really interesting, so we didn't talk about who everyone is. So you've got 2 cameramen, we've got 2 sound people, but I assume there are more sound people for the more people that are in a scene.
Yeah.
So there were at least 2. There was 1 each for the 2 actors that we saw. Then you have a props person, a set person, who are 2 different people. You've also got people that are involved with moving elements of the set around.
Oh, yeah. Because obviously there are bits where you can just move the wall back.
Or right, we need that table going somewhere.
Or right, take the TV off, we don't need this here. Or,
so
or
they
the
were there
coffee
the whole
table
time.
gets moved or whatever.
Then you got the lighting people who come in and they set up different lights, and depending on what time of day it was, or, there were the big portable lights that could be moved around, and there's also if you imagine you can imagine a studio with the lights with the flaps on the front, and then putting the flaps back and forward. There were those people. There was a continuity person. There were the assistant director, the director. There was Grace. There was
a props lady, wasn't there?
I said the props lady.
And one of the things at one point one of the actors said, I need some house keys for the scene, so she kind of rooted around in her bag and gave them some house keys to use.
All of the makeup and costume.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know what was going on with the makeup people, and there's also hair people. So there was definitely a lady called Natalie, who was the wardrobe. She was an assistant for the wardrobe, and she had a supervisor there as well, and chatted to her later on.
A lot of those people, the costumes and the hair, kind of sit off to one side, don't they, with the monitors all in front of them,
there's
who's watching them
banks of
intently to make sure that for continuity purposes everything looks the same, or does anyone need their makeup touching up? And they'd just be sitting there watching, and they've all got iPads now, haven't they? One of the things that's changed recently is they don't have the paper scripts anymore. It's all digital on their iPad, so they're there with their Apple pencils scribbling notes all over the place. It's very swish and modern, and seems a lot better way of doing it now.
So it's like a really incredible number of people, but everyone
many cogs in the machine.
This is the thing, they've all got a very, very specific job to do.
Yeah.
And when they're needed, they're absolutely vital, and only they can do it. But like 90% of the time, unless you're a cameraman or a sound person, you're like just kind of like, is it me? No. Do you need me? No. Okay, I'll stand up.
I'm sure they're thinking a lot, but it looked to us.
The other thing I want to say is I feel like there's so much prep that goes into preparing for everything that we didn't get to see any of that. But like when they come in, they've already got an idea of what's going on. So a lot of them, like the costume and stuff, they would have done their work already. They're just there to make sure everything's okay. So that's quite an interesting kind of perspective on what everyone is. So
Can I interject again just to apologise to anyone who's watching this on YouTube? We didn't take many pictures of these behind the scenes bits because we really couldn't.
I don't think
we didn't want to be too cheeky or for spoiler reasons. Like we got lots of pictures from in the sets that we could see just visiting sets, but we couldn't really take pictures.
I also
of
thought it was a
people
bit
at work
rude.
or anything.
Yeah,
exactly. When parts of the filming was going on, like we were free to wander basically, weren't we? And I think some people knew who we were, some people didn't know who we were. Like somebody asked me, "You're here for a podcast? Is that right?" And we talked to them, but at some bits when I was wandering, I kind of did a bit of an explore, and I found Imran's office there, and I did a picture of me in Imran's seat saying, "Oh yeah, I'm the new Imran," and that's when
can't believe it.
And then that's when I got talking to Jack, who was one of the runners and the third AD, and he was absolutely lovely, wasn't he? Because you chatted to him later on the night shoot as well. I found the streetcars office, which is just across from Imran's office. That was really cool, and I was really surprised about that. That was one of the sets that looked bigger in real life than you picture it on the show, because not that you see inside streetcars very often at the moment, but you always just kind of see the desk where Eileen sits at, and like the little window where your Steve or Tim or Vikram back in the day or whatever would lean through. But there's a whole bit of wall opposite the window, isn't there? Which, in my mind, you never see on the show. So I found that really, really interesting. So we just hung around and watched, and we asked questions when we could. We didn't want to feel that people said, "Oh, just ask anything," but we didn't want to be interrupting people at their work.
Sorry, Mark, can you just stop the cart? Right, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
I think also. The other thing is, I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what's happening. It's like I could like basically the question is, huh? That's the question. What's the answer? But we picked it up as we went along. That was one of my most my favourite things about it was like slowly understanding and realising what I was seeing the longer we were there, and the more I got to see, I was like, oh, I see. So I get what he's doing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see she's doing that now. And gradually, I think also they kind of... the thing is, everyone was so friendly, and they really wanted to talk to us about what they were up to, and they were chatting away.
And it was really nice, some of them asking us about the podcast as well, like Grace, who was in the gallery with Matt, was saying, like, "Oh, who are you shipping on? Who's your favourite characters on the show?"
She asked me so many questions that made me feel like because she was like, "Right, who's your favourite character?" I was like, "I like everyone on the show." I
know. My mind was just so packed in with everything that I was seeing. I couldn't.
We get asked that quite a lot when you say, "Oh, I'll do a Coronation Street podcast," and people are like, "Oh, who's your favourite character? Or what's your favourite thing?" I'm like, I literally can't remember who's in it. I don't know what you're talking about. What's Coronation Street? I've never heard of it. My mind just goes completely blank.
I felt so stupid for some of those questions.
But Grace was so lovely.
She was so sweet and lovely.
Yeah, she was really, really... Everyone was lovely. So you got to meet... There were lots of people that I've forgotten their names, or I didn't write their name down. But we also, Colin was really good. There was a guy called Tick. He was
doing the cameraman
stuff, and he was really
I spoke
chatty
to him
and friendly.
for 5 minutes.
Natalie, we got to speak to Keith a little bit, who was one of the cameramen, and he was talking about the history of steady cams and stuff because he was really interested in that. Everybody is like really passionate about what they do, and it's just lovely to be able to watch everybody. Just such experts in their craft.
It really just got a mega family feel, didn't it?
Yeah.
And we hear about everybody working there is lovely, but to get it, see it in action, it was just such a lovely, lovely atmosphere. It was so nice, and we're really grateful for being allowed to a little peek into the world. Even though it did, my spoiler sensors were going into overdrive by some of the stuff that we saw.
Don't tell us. So, I was trying clumsily, and I'm sorry this is so scatterbrained, to say what the process is. So, quickly just to summarise, when we saw it, this might be different for other people. So the actors come in, they have a little huddle, director, actors go over the script, look at what they're doing, run through the lines. They'll do like kind of semi-acting and sort of talking about what the lines are. Then they'll move to position and see how they feel about that. They might move somewhere else. Then they will run rehearsals, and in the studios there'll be lights on. There's like REH, which is a blue light that says rehearsal, and there's REC, which you might guess is short for recording, and that's a red light. So they'll do the rehearsals and they run through that a few times until they're confident. And this is when the director's sort of looking around like, where can I shoot this from? Right, move that wall, or the camera needs to be over here in the kitchen, or it needs to be over there in the dining room, or whatever. And then, I think I need this prop, or we should move that lamp, or whatever. And then they will record. And once they start recording, they need to make sure, and they do like maybe 10 takes, and everybody needs to be exactly the same almost every time. So that, say, if somebody walks in with like a newspaper in their hand, and they need to make sure that every time they come in, they hold it at the same position. Yeah,
same height, same hand.
You might hold it next to your, down by your thigh, or you might hold it up against your shoulder, or you might hold it with two hands. But once they've started recording, every time you come in, you have to hold it the same way. And it can be really difficult to remember because so many other things are happening at the same time. You've got to remember your line, you've got to come in, you've got to remember where you're looking for the camera. And so they'll do record a few takes with a certain camera setup, then they might move the cameras, or maybe zoom in a bit closer, do a tighter shot, and then they record the same thing again, and everything has to be like pretty much the same. And this is what I was saying before about synonyms in the scripts, and how easy it is to say a different word to the word that you just said.
And the actors were all superb. I was just blown away by how brilliantly they were able to deliver their lines, to see them properly in character. It was and I saw them as their characters rather than the actors as well, which, like, when they were in character, I was like, oh yeah, that's so and so there, and not La-di-do, the actor. And
La-di-do, the actor.
And when they had to wait, they were kind of having a bit of a laugh around each other. A lot of them were, some of them were very kind of in the zone, because some of the scenes that we saw were fairly intense, and you could see them kind of.
I just want to say, we saw a range of different scenes of different various seriousness, and the atmosphere on them, depending on what the tone of the scene was very different.
It felt very different.
When it's like a comedy scene, everyone's like really jokey and fun and loose and having a great time. And when it's a serious scene, they kind of like have a little bit of a joke to release the tension in between. But you can tell that they're, and certain actors really channel this very intense vibe when they're doing. And in between takes, you can tell they're like trying, I don't know, they can't let go of it, and
one of the actors was like, by the time the whole thing finished, was almost kind of tearing up by how intense this scene is. Not acting tears, it looked like. It was like, this is real,
really,
this is real heavy stuff
Super
here, actually. He was amazing. I'm looking forward to talking about who it actually was at a later date.
Oh, I can't wait to tell you guys. You can't wait though.
But it was just amazing. It was such a brilliant learning experience, and going outside at night to see what is going to be a very good scene. was really fun. And I also had a little explore around the set at night as well. So I went to have a look in the garage, and I had a look down the street a little bit. I didn't go too far. I didn't want to be too rude. But that was when they had the gallery up in the top of Audrey's, I think Matt said, didn't they? So he went off there, and we didn't see much of him while that was going on. But we were just loitering around. There were cables draped all over the floor. There was one point where we were stood next to something, and we were like, "Oh, are we allowed to be here?"
Don't know.
No. And there was one point that everyone just disappeared, and we were left standing there.
And we didn't realise, like, one by one, everyone went, and then when you look around, you're like,
yeah,
okay,
just as a cameraman over there, it's like, "Are we allowed to be here?" And it's like, everyone was saying you'll be asked to move if you're in the wrong place, and nobody did ask us to move, but we felt like people just got on with the job, didn't they? Really, they would talk to us if they needed to, but we felt a little bit like, oh, what are we supposed? Nobody knows, or people don't really know what we're doing here or anything. But it was so lovely, and then at the end of the night, Matt let us out of the back gates, didn't they? Eventually, they were a bit temperamental. It took us about 5 minutes to get through the gates.
Matt like crouched, and we kind of jumped over, didn't we? You jumped on his back, and then I sort of did a double flip, and you didn't do that because you're not cool like me. and
then we got home, and it was dark, and we were just like, my contact lenses were desperate to be taken out. My eyes were aching from all the looking that I'd been doing.
When we
honestly.
came out, we were like,
what have we just done?
That was I cannot believe I saw what I saw. Can you? No, I don't know.
I know.
Because we went
and
in,
not
and
just
we
for the spoilery bits of it, but just the whole everything of learning that we went through that afternoon, and seeing things that we'd never seen before, 10 years ago, and never even dreamt that we would ever see. It was such a lovely thing to be able to do for the anniversary.
Completely overwhelmed. I'm so grateful. Everyone was so generous. I really cannot thank everyone enough. I'm just could say thank you 1,000 times, and it wouldn't really cover how I feel. I really feel really appreciative, and I don't know, maybe they let us in because they're like, right, you know how you think it's so bloody easy, right? You know how you think it's like, oh, I saw this scene and I think you could have done it this way. Would you like to see how we do it and see?
It really, really does make you appreciate how much effort and work goes into even some of the smallest scenes. There's so much thought that is put into it.
The other thing I just want to point out too is that we saw the filming, and the filming is obviously one of the biggest aspects. You can't really do much else without the filming, but that's like just a small percentage of what they do there. There are people in that building that we're looking at, because we're recording it as we're looking at the Coronation Street.
Yes, Coronation Street is right in front of us right now.
There are hundreds of people in there who do stuff that doesn't really involve. They don't stand around while the filming's going on, but they're all in there. They're working away. They're working and beavering away.
Yeah.
And all of those people together put together this show, and it's just incredible. And the amount of people that are having their input in, and the coordination of working out how to translate that into a television show. I think it's miraculous. I honestly really do.
Me too. It was brilliant. It was so brilliant.
And for all the crap we give Coronation Street and all the moaning that we do,
they're just passionate fans.
We always appreciate Corrie for how much work that goes into it, and it's art. It honestly is art, and I truly believe that. And you guys know that. I think that, and this is storytelling for history. This is us as we see ourselves now, and I think it's just lovely.
Yeah, me too. And then we went home and had a very, very well deserved sleep, didn't we?
Oh gosh.
I think we'll talk about what we've done today another time. We'll record this later on when we've got a little bit more done. But I had a mega lie-in this morning. I meant to get up
at 9.
I meant to get up at 7 o'clock, but I woke up at 9. I actually I had one dream where I was. Where I'd been asked to be on Michael Adams' Chatterbox radio show, and I'd been drafted into cover, and I was like, I can do that, I run a podcast, and then I had no idea what I was doing, and it was terrifying, and I had a 2-hour show to record. So that was a nightmare. And then I also had a dream specifically related to one of the things that we were told is going to be coming up in the show, which I cannot talk about now, but that was quite funny as well.
Well, I also had a Corrie-related dream that Emily Nugent / Bishop was abandoned as a baby, and she was confronting her real mother.
Interesting stuff.
when I woke up, I was like, hang on, is that what happened? That's not what happened, is it?
That is not a spoiler. We didn't see Emily Nugent coming back.
Oh, imagine.
A backstory flashback. Right, we're going to stop recording now because we've just began this segment in the last 50 minutes, and no way have I got 50 minutes worth of footage to put over this for the YouTube, so apologies for the repeated clips and maybe stills or whatever. But anyway, next bit you'll record is us talking, I guess, about...
We're recording it. They're not.
We will hear.
They're listening.
Is us talking about what we've got on today, and maybe a bit later, I suppose. So we'll see you on the other side. Hello, we're back. It's Friday.
Yes, it's Friday. It's
nearly the end of the week. I'm very sad about it.
So many days now.
I know, like at the beginning of the week I was thinking, oh, we've got ages left of the week, and now it's like, oh, I've only got 2 days left. It's very sad. We've had a lovely, lovely time. But yeah, it's nearly end. We've still got an awful lot to talk about, though. We've still got to record tonight's podcast as well. So,
I forgot about that.
Yes, we do. It would be probably better.
Oh, on Friday we're going to have a nice takeaway, relax, chill out.
Podcast.
No.
Haven't you remembered the last 10 years worth of Fridays, Gemma? Right,
yeah, it's all flooding back.
I've got an idea. Let's go back in time to make us think we've got a bit longer left of the holiday by talking a bit about what we got up to on Thursday. Is that a deal? Okay, so it started off at Thursday lunchtime where we went and met up with Dom, who is one of the archivists at Coronation Street, and Joe Parkinson, who's the story producer there.
Yes.
Both of whom we'd met before, though I'd only very briefly spoken to Dom. You'd not met. You'd not met Dom before, had you?
I don't think I've seen Joe like really briefly.
Yeah.
But I'd never met.
Yeah,
maybe I have.
I don't. I know
I saw Joe at the Soap Awards.
Okay, yeah.
And I waved at him, but because don't forget, I had to go and charge the battery.
Yes, remember that story, everybody?
What a great story that is about all the people that I missed.
So, we agreed to meet up for lunch yesterday. So that was cool. We went around the back of the Coronation Street set, and Dom came out first, and we started to walk off because we weren't sure whether Joe was actually coming. And then he turned up.
It's Joe, you guys, what? Hang on.
Yeah.
We were like, what do you mean?
And then we went back over the bridge and we went to... where did we go for lunch? Pret a manger. And you were just saying, weren't you, a few days ago that you fancied
I love
Pret.
And if I want to Pret at home, I have to deliver it because I don't have a car. So I have to buy like £15 worth of sandwiches. So it's quite nice. And when we've got the apartment here, I was like, oh, nice, we'll have Pret every day. No. This is the first time.
So that was cool. It was a lot of Dom talking. I think Joe was taking a back seat a little bit because he knew that we knew all about his job. We wanted to know about what archivist does.
Yeah, Dom was telling us all about his job and what he does and all the different things. It's so interesting what you're saying about all the different elements of his job.
Yeah, just like, when script writers might contact him, for example, to say, well, I want to put something, I'll reference to something, or is there anything that I can put in here about this, or can you check this against something that happened in an episode? It's fascinating.
It was really, really interesting, and going through some of the things where he's had input in. He had to nitpick, didn't he?
Which one? I probably had a few.
The cousin.
Oh yes, this is my news of the night. The afternoon. Sorry, cousin Kirsty, Battersby cousin Kirsty,
that we claimed was fictional.
Claimed on the podcast earlier this year when Toya apparently went to visit her. It doesn't exist. Actually, back in 1998, they did refer to cousin Kirsty before. Her and Toya mentioned cousin Kirsty, so she is an established member of the Battersby family. And we forgot that Dom knows. That's
also,
why
there was. Yes, exactly. There was a little tiny bit in the script, wasn't there? And it got taken out. Oh,
yeah. Originally, they were going to make more reference to old Kirsty.
Don was saying, sometimes they give them quite a lot of stuff and it gets cut out because, the people, the script writers or whoever's like, look, would they really say this? And, Joe was saying, look, you can't just have everyone sitting around talking about every single bad thing that's ever happened to them.
Yeah.
And he said they'd all have PTSD of the way things are going. It's true. It's true. But, and I was saying, sometimes it can be a bit intimidating if you're trying to attract new viewers and you tune in and they're like, remember my cousin Kirsty from 1998? And you'll be like, okay, I think I need to watch something else.
Yeah. It was funny. We won't say who, but he's talking about like getting into arguments with actors sometimes, and they say such and such about their character, and he's like, well, no,
like
actually,
this in the script,
so and so about character. They said this isn't true about my character. Right. Yes, it is definitely true.
Yeah,
he's a font of Corrie knowledge.
He knows
much like the Corriepedia chaps we met up with a few weeks ago. And,
he was so nice, and he's so knowledgeable, and he's so lovely.
And he was talking. He's really, really nice guy.
And so was Joe too. They were both really, really nice. It's so nice of them to sit with us.
He was talking also about like putting compilation clips together, wasn't he? Like for the awards shows, or for when a writer's leaving the show or whatever. It's really, we could have listened to him for hours and hours. I think we did hug that coffee mug for quite a long time in there, didn't we? I can't remember how long we were in there. Hour and a half or so. How long. But it was really, really interesting.
I know that Joe had a lot of stuff to do.
Joe has got a very busy week.
I actually got to do work. I don't know. I know you guys don't think we do anything.
So it was fun. Oh, and Dom gave us a nice little present at the end as well, which was
really
unexpected. He gave us a Corrie goodie bag, and it's literally got Corrie ducks on the side.
He wrote us a little card.
Yeah, he gave us. Yeah,
it said happy anniversary on it.
It said happy anniversary, Chuck, didn't it? It's a Stan and Hilda on the front. He wrote us a nice note inside, which was really lovely, and he gave us an old script and some key rings and
some beer mats with quotes on them.
Yeah, it was really, really, really nice.
It was so nice of him. He didn't have to do that.
No.
Oh, I feel
really appreciated that.
I feel like something's gonna, I know what's happening. You know when you have a pig and you feed it and it feels the pig's like, oh, this is great, but actually it's gonna get murdered.
Yeah.
That's what I feel's happening to us.
Are you the pig in this?
Yeah.
Feeding you out with all the nice stuff.
But
then you're going to be a...
Tell her on Sunday what's going to happen. Just let her have a nice week.
It was really, really lovely. Then we walked back over, and there were a few fans at the gates. We were kind of joking about the fact
we were talking to them about
whenever there are fans at the gates, and they always kind of, and we're the same. Our ears prick up, and when we hear somebody's coming, we go, "Is that a cast member or is it crew?" And the people like Joe and Dom always like they go outside and people look interested, and they see it's not a cast member, and then they go, And Dom said it was lovely going out the gate for a change. We were there like, oh, it's Dom, hello.
Yeah. Well, I said it must be like, after a while, it must affect you psychologically.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, that was really, really cool experience.
Yeah.
So what did you do? Oh, then we went and had a look around Media City. Oh, this is when we bumped into Ryan Prescott, didn't we?
Right.
You tell this story then.
Right, so I was like, look, Michael, should we go to Co-op? And I just need to get some things. And Michael, I don't understand this. After, all these years, he doesn't get that me saying, should we just pop in the shop quickly, means I'm just going to buy some cider. Because he's like, what is it we need? I'm like, well, we need to get some orange juice and some lemonade.
That's code for cider, isn't it? So you got your cider, I got a nice milkshake.
Yes, and so I've got all these bags, and it's like full of all these ciders and orange juice. We did actually need orange juice, and I'm like huffing and puffing, and Michael's just strutting around with his milkshake, and then we see Ryan Prescott walking along, and you're like, I'm going to go.
Ryan.
I want to go and say hello to him.
I'll first say hello. I did interview him like 5 years ago. I'm going to go say hello. So.
And then, what did you say?
I said, hold my milkshake. Hold my milkshake. I'm going to go and speak to Ryan.
So I then am standing, and I realise, obviously he knows we're together. So then I thought, I can't just stand over here. That'd be rude. So then I huff over, and I'm like there, like a linebacker with this like massive bags clanking along like an alcoholic with a milkshake in my hand.
Hello, I'm Gemma, I'm his wife.
Clank. Hello. And then he was like, shake hands, and I was like, my hand is wet. I'm holding a milkshake. He's like, I can't
remember what we talked about, but it's
know.
just the setup.
It was just weird.
Hilarious. But yeah.
And he did glance down at my bags like, I see.
We spoke for like a minute or two, didn't we? Because he had to go and get his hair cut. That's where he was on his way to going.
There's a story about that.
There is a story, but should we tell that story now? Or should we say, I've gone to the hair... I've also got my hair cut today.
I thought you should have gone to the hairiness.
No, I've got my hair cut today.
You've been de-haired.
Yes. I thought I'd treat myself to a nice haircut. £30 for a haircut. I'm used to paying 10.
See, this is the thing, you see. Mancunians actually quite fancy and posh.
Yeah, they are around here.
Yeah, they think they've got the common touch up
But yeah,
north,
Ryan
but
Prescott put the
some of them
idea
are
in my
very
head.
elite.
And when I was talking to the barber today, he was doing, "What are you here for?" Corrie, my wife and I love Corrie. "Oh, have you been onto the set?" yeah, once or twice. Have you met any of the cast? One or two.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh yeah, no, we were talking to one yesterday," and he came in. He's like, "Oh, is that Ryan Prescott?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh yeah, he comes in here all the time, Ryan Prescott does. In fact, he was sitting in this seat. You can say that you were sitting in the same seat as Ryan Prescott." I am honoured.
How many seats is that then? You got Evelyn's?
I've sat in Evelyn's seat this week. I've sat in Ryan Prescott's seat this week. Yeah, we have shared. We have shared bum and crevices.
And also, he said, "I saw you guys yesterday." Remember,
Oh, yeah.
he was waiting for Ryan.
He said, "I saw him talking to somebody yesterday when he was late for his hair appointment." So that must have been you.
Yeah, we're just like going, "Hi, we do a podcast."
I messaged Ryan afterwards and yesterday and said, "Oh, sorry for accosting you in the street." And it's like, "No, it's all right." But he's a very polite chap.
He's very nice.
So that was nice. And then we went back to the flat for a little bit. And then we went out to dinner at Annie's restaurant, which is Jenny McAlpine's tea rooms, just off St Anne's Square in Manchester, because we had a dinner date with one Georgia Taylor.
Yeah, we did.
You may know of.
A definite dinner date. I felt like the third wheel.
Toy Battersby.
Taking photos. With you two canoodling with carrots and raspberries, and I'm just there,
I can't remember whether we talked about this on a recording before, but yeah, that picture that I took, I took a picture in Imran's office, and I was wearing Imran's purple polo shirt, because that was the least nerdy t-shirt that I brought along with me. And then
even though it's actually more nerdy than anything else, because it's the same t-shirt.
Stealth nerdy.
Well, it's the same t-shirt that Imran used to wear.
So I put that one on Twitter saying, "Don't worry, they found the next Imran Habib. I was just trying to wind Charlie up." And then I said to Georgia, "Oh, we should pose for another photo of like." I can't remember whether I just said you should do a picture of me and you together, and we'll add it to the next stage. And then she came in and said, "Well, what we should do is because it was when the main arrived and we had some carrots, and she said, 'Tell you what, you should take a photo of me putting a carrot in your mouth.'" So we were both sitting there in the restaurant, and Gemma, being a very dutiful photographer, taking photos as Georgia Taylor was putting carrots up to my lips.
It's a wife's duty if a celebrity wants to canoodle with a husband to take photos. And then you were like, after Georgia was like holding this carrot up to your face, you were like, "Who wants this carrot?" I was like, "It's your carrot now, Michael. No one else wants to eat it." So I did eat that carrot. You had to eat it.
And then when the puddings came, I had some raspberries on the top, and I'm a fussy bugger and I don't like raspberries, but I know Georgia Taylor loves raspberries.
Yep.
And that's a tip for anyone out there.
Don't send her raspberries.
Fruit is raspberries.
Don't send her raspberries.
I was like, should we take another photo of me like feeding you a raspberry? So we did that.
Yeah, and I was taking the photos. I was like, "Hang on, Michael, you can't see. There's a raspberry in your hand. You just look like you're sticking your fingers up to it."
So I had to readjust the raspberry.
It was very funny.
For the photo that found its way on social media.
It was so funny. We had a really funny evening.
Really funny evening. Because she knew that we'd been onto the set the day before, and she was saying, all of Wednesday afternoon and evening, I was on the edge of a seat waiting for you to text me about what you've been up to.
Because we were there for 9 hours.
We were there for ages on Wednesday, and she was literally waiting there.
She was expecting us to be finished at a certain time, going, "What's happened? What's happened?"
So we did send her a message once we got back very, very late on Wednesday night, but we spent the first half an hour, 40 minutes or so of the dinner just talking about what we got up to on the set tour at her work the other day.
Yeah.
And we talked about this and that and whatever, and then Charlie got into the text message conversation.
What are you up to
as well? Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you eating carrots?
Yeah, and then we got kicked out of the restaurant because they were closing later on that evening, and she got a Uber home, and we got the tram home, and that was pretty much it. But that was such a fun evening.
That was really fun. Really good time.
Really lucky
so
with
nice.
All the people very kindly taking the time out to eat with us and chat with us and things. It was absolutely lovely. So thank you, Georgia, for doing that with us.
You.
Very, very pleasant.
And also shout out to Annie's as well.
Oh yeah, Annie's is great.
We had steak. It was so
very
nice.
Very nice. Oh yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun, and Many quotes have been taken away from that evening that are now in jokes between me, you and Georgia. But we won't say them on the podcast. What have we been doing today, Gemma?
Today, we went...
Yes.
Yeah, we went back. We went back to the set.
Yes.
Because Matt was going to do the editing. Oh, and right now, Ian McLeod is watching all the episodes.
Oh yeah, he's watching some episodes right as we are recording this. When he's got his feet up.
Marking everyone's exams.
Did we talk about? I just thought, going back to yesterday, did we talk about seeing something being filmed in the car park? I've lost track of.
I really don't know what's happening anymore. We'll talk about.
Sorry if we
no,
have.
We can't. Oh,
if we haven't,
we won't say what it was. But
we saw something being filmed in the Freshco car park area,
yep.
and it was a lot of fun being able to watch it from afar. Anyway, today, yes,
right.
so Matt invited us back round again. He sort of said on Wednesday, "I'm going to be back in on Friday. You can come in then if you like." We're like, "Yes, please." So he needed to do some editing of some of the film, the scenes that we saw on Wednesday, and we were supposed to be having a look at those and seeing the editing process. But when
got a bit fraught,
yes,
bit complicated, slightly more complicated maybe.
I think people were running behind schedule a little bit, so we didn't
let them do their thing, and we shall all admire how great.
Yes, but we got
the end
plonked
product
out on the street.
Surely is. You're like, I don't know what to do with you, go away, go and stand over here.
We got plonked out on the street by streetcars, or it's by the entrance to Carla and Peter's flat, and we saw certain actors
doing
performing certain things.
Yeah.
So we saw two scenes, didn't we, today? There was one with a pair of actors.
Say who was directing.
Yes, we can. Rhys Dinsdale was directing today. He's back. We didn't chat to Rhys. He was very, very busy.
I just want to say one thing. I really enjoyed this opportunity to watch a different unit filming, and it was a different. So this was an outdoor shoot on the street. So we hadn't seen that. And so Rhys was like, because we're on first name terms, even though I've literally never met him. He was like running around and like really getting involved,
busy and getting down and talking to the actors, and
he's got a kind of different style of directing to Matt, because he was really, sort of, what's the word? I don't know. He was like kind of like giving the actors more direction. I think that was probably because they were outside, so there was more space for them to walk around in. Whereas the scenes we saw were interior sets, so it's quite, static, really, in a sense. So, but it's also really interesting, and I think I can't remember who we were talking to, but we were saying like, oh, isn't it interesting how different? And they said, oh yeah, it's because maybe it's because Rhys is like, and he is an actor first, and so they. Sometimes they have a different style of directing because they kind of they know it from the other angle. They probably think, oh, if I was acting in the scene, I would like to know about this, that, and the other thing. Yeah. And we also got to speak to Dale.
I can't remember what her surname was. We need to look this up.
And she was the assistant director, and she's been
at Coronation Street since what, 86, 87 or so.
She was so lovely.
Jolly long time.
She was really, really lovely. And she was saying, there's different sorts of directors.
Really, really
like there's story-orientated directors, there's actor-orientated directors, and there's sort of shot-orientated directors. And she works with different people all the time. And she had so many stories, because she also was involved in the one of your favourite scenes ever on Blackpool Tower.
Oh yes, she filmed the Blackpool Tower Maria and Tyrone scene. That was lovely.
And we bonded because we both have vertigo. I don't know how she managed to.
Oh yeah, that's what.
She was saying about how absolutely terrified.
Yeah, so
and
she
I was
had
like.
Yeah. She couldn't look out at the sea when they were filming up at the top of Blackpool Tower, and she had to look out to Townway.
No, exactly what you mean, because I'm over there. You could literally see where we were staying from the street, and I was like, I'm over there, and I'm actually terrified. And the first time we came in, I thought I was going to throw my phone over the side for no reason.
So that was quite interesting, seeing how little equipment as well. I remarked that there had been compared to the indoor filming.
Oh yeah,
scenes.
That's right. They seem to
they
have
had
less
one big
stuff.
fluffy boom and one camera.
Yeah.
And they had a few little marks on the floor, didn't they? Where the actors had to stand. And it was there's a very similar experience to what we saw the other day, apart from it was outside and a different set of actors. And I think what we saw being filmed today was an awful lot less spoilery than what we ended up seeing on Wednesday. So I can't talk about it now. But it was really, really nice, and they broke for lunch part way through, and we kind of wandered off to the reception area again, didn't we? And when we were there was just like parades of Corrie actors walking through. I think we can say who some of the people are that we saw.
Well, we can definitely say we saw William Roach.
We saw William Roach driving in to the car park. Well, we were just sitting outside the building, and somebody came out and like, Bill, you can park there.
I want to give a shout out here.
Yeah.
Kath, the receptionist, is bloody brilliant.
She
Love
is bloody
her.
brilliant.
She's so nice to us. We've been there twice. She's like, what are you doing here? She's always lets me use the toilet.
Yes.
And she's like, I don't know why everyone tells me when they need the toilet. But
Just we were there for like 20 minutes, about 3 people saying, I'm just going to go and have a wee.
yeah, she's like, all right.
Was it her that came out and told Bill about the car park?
She saved him.
And you kind of gave me a nudge and said, Bill. And that's probably loads of Bills that work on this show.
I know. Excuse me, there are plenty of Bills, but there's only one that gets his car park saved for them.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So yeah, we were there in the standing up by the front desk, and then William Roach walks in and he was like, hello. We're like, hello. And then he went upstairs.
It's like meeting the Queen.
I know.
It's like, hello, your worship, your reverence.
I know. I'm just borrowing your phone because we made a list of some of the people.
Did you?
We told some people on text message, didn't we? So I can just get that.
Okay.
Who do you remember that we saw?
We saw, I don't know, how many things are spoilers? We saw Joe Frost.
We did see Joe Frost, didn't we? Yes,
who
plays
Leo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And he was like, who are you? Get out. No, he didn't talk to us at all.
Most people didn't talk to. In fact, I don't think.
Well, they're into this.
Well, yeah, they're not into. They're not there to see us. They should be, but they just literally came in, passed through.
Yeah, we saw Julia.
We saw Julia Goulding, didn't we? We saw Jack P. Shepherd. Yeah,
yeah,
she knows who we are.
Yeah, Jack P. Shepherd glared at us.
We saw Paddy Bever again.
Good. Yeah.
Jack P. Shepherd came in too cool for school in his shades, didn't he?
I don't know what they mean. I think he knows it. I don't know if he knows who I am.
He knows who I am.
He knows who you are, and he's like.
We had Dolly Rose Campbell walk past us, Jane Hazelgrove.
Yes. So they
gave us a polite nod.
They were polite.
Yeah. I won't say about that one. Patty Claire came in.
She
in a
was
big,
wearing
floaty,
a great,
amazing...
big, really, gorgeous, like,
I don't know what
dress.
It was.
Yeah.
It was very floaty and colourful and silky. That was lovely.
Yeah.
We saw Rob Mallard.
Yes, and
presumably the little kid
Barry,
that plays Bertie Osborne, because he was kind of talking to the kid's mum. Joe Frost, again, we saw. Was that it?
We saw quite a lot. We can't say some people.
We cannot say some people that we saw, but it was just really cool. So then go back. We saw Peter Ash today, didn't we? We did. We saw Gareth Pierce.
He was nice. He spoke to us.
Gareth Pierce did speak to us. Actually, I'd forgotten about that.
He was talking. We were talking
lovely.
with Dale, and she was, and Gareth was talking too. And I really, really wanted to tell him how much I think he's great. But I didn't really get a chance. And then he sort of went off and I went, you're doing a good job. And I was like, oh, for God's sake, just say that.
But he was very nice. He's very polite.
He was really nice. And he was wearing his very smart suit.
He was wearing his Undertaker's outfit.
He's very dapper.
Yes, very nice. There's not a funeral going on as far as we could tell, by the way. But
that's what he wears all the time. It's his costume.
Yeah. And that was about it, really. So I had to go out and get my hair cut.
I know, this was so ridiculous.
After then, so we got to like 15 minutes before I was supposed to have my haircut.
Got the time.
And you thought I was supposed to be getting it done at 2:30, and I knew it was 2:15. I was like, Gemma, we got to go now. And you're like, no, you got plenty of time. And I was like, seriously, we got to go now. And then Dale, the director, moved us around the side of streetcars so we couldn't escape.
And Dom came down.
Oh yeah, Dom came down again, didn't he? Yeah,
to see and chat with us.
Yeah, he chatted with us for a bit, and then he helped us get out at the end. So that was, and then we were intercepted. I'll say this way around on the way out by Shelley King again.
Yeah, we didn't.
I was like, I got to rush to get my hair cut. Oh, Shelley! No, that was lovely. And because we told her the other day when we saw her that we were going to come in and see some filming, and she said, "Oh, did you come in? I didn't see you." I was like, "Yeah, we were there for ages on Wednesday actually." So that was really nice. Rushed over the bridge, rushed to get my t-shirt changed. So I wasn't wearing a Conversation Street t-shirt at the barber's, and then went to get my hair cut. So now I look very dapper.
I was standing in the foyer waiting for you because I pressed the call button on the elevator and I saw that you were coming. I saw that it went to 6 and then it came down. I thought it was obviously you.
Yeah.
And as I was standing there was a man in reception and he was talking to the lady and then he turned around and he went, I don't complain, do I? You've never seen me complain. And I went, nope, never seen you complain once in my life. And then I just got
Oh. And that's it. That kind of takes us up to now.
We should have done.
What?
We should have asked where to put the bins out. Because we don't know.
We do not know where we need to put our bins. We've only got a few days left to find out. Right, we need to go. So
Yeah,
we've got
right, we
plenty
need
more
to
that
do
we
the
need to
bins
do.
now. See you
we
later.
need to do stuff. So we'll tell you what's coming up next next time we record. See you on then. Okay, hello.
And breathe.
Yes. We've it's Saturday evening now. It's flipping windy outside, isn't it? So you might hear some woo from the wind. But it's our last night.
There also
here
might be
now.
some woos because there are a bunch of girls on a balcony
Nearby
above us and they really
having
love
Saturday
Corrie
night
and
revelries.
life and being alive and birthday times.
So where did we get up to last? I think we were just about to go and do something exciting on Friday evening. So I think we can talk about that.
Oh yeah,
now,
Michael had a
can't we?
haircut.
No, we talked about that. We've mentioned
Yeah.
the haircut.
Yeah, I know.
But
That's
but
what I mean.
My reason for the
Exactly,
haircut.
that's why I'm bringing it
I
up.
had my haircut because we were going to a special Coronation Street party.
That's right, everybody. They threw us a 10-year anniversary celebrity bash at the Alchemist.
You might have read what the party is, but that's wrong.
No, it's wrong. It was for us.
Conversation's
It was so nice of them. Didn't need to do it.
Not really. So, it was a special party organised by Millie Gibson.
That's
With
right.
Kelly Nealon in Coronation Street. And we'd met her back in March, hadn't we, when we went to see Sally Ann Matthews play.
Yes,
she
we
was there in
did.
the audience, so
She's
yeah, we got to know her there.
lovely.
And I'd seen that this party was going on when we went to the set on Wednesday. I'd heard about it, and I just texted her on Friday morning, just saying, sorry we didn't see you on Wednesday. We have a good time at the party. And to cut a long story short, within the next hour, we'd been invited to the party along. And,
We weren't trying to invite ourselves.
we weren't. We really,
No.
really weren't. But it was very, very nice to receive an invitation.
It was very nice.
Yeah.
I feel like very honoured.
Haven't been to a celebrity party before. But
I haven't been to a celebrity party.
Believe it
before.
or not. But it was really cool.
But I was once in the same room as Scarlett Johansson.
Wow. I think this is better,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were really, really chuffed that Millie had invited us. She's always lovely. And
She is. I thought you were going to say she's always loved us.
always having parties, that Millie Gibson.
She is. So, she is like so nice. Everyone's so nice. And I just want to say...
texted her on Friday morning and she was like, oh, this really made my day to get a text from you.
Oh.
It's bloody lovely. And what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I always say, oh yeah, everyone's so nice. Oh, but they are actors, you know. They could be pretending. But you know what? Some of them aren't good at acting to pretend that they're like you, are they?
Not everybody. But I do believe that Millie thinks that we're great. Why wouldn't she? Honestly.
Why wouldn't she? Yeah.
So we went over to the Alchemist, which we have talked about already in this podcast, when we just went there for a drink on our own. Little did we know that we'd be back there in a few days' time. And we kind of waited outside, and now Paps there, weren't they?
Oh yeah.
Like, you know how averse Gemma is to any kind of photography.
They started taking photos of some people, and I like literally ran into a bin.
Yeah, you did. Like, don't get me in these. You managed to avoid being photographed on night. It's very, very skillful of you.
Well, at one point there was a group photo, and I ran. I almost pushed Bill Fellows out the way.
Did you?
And ran outside and made friends with a dog.
Oh, I didn't know you made friends with a dog. That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, so we got there and we had to go past the press. Obviously, they didn't care who we were. And then we went around the side of the bar following instructions. And there was a little balcony area out the back where we didn't go when we were there the other day. And we started to see some of the Corrie people there. So we knew that Georgia Taylor was going to be there, and we'd kind of been organising at the same time when we'd arrived there. She got there a little bit before us, but we saw sitting around a table Millie Gibson, Tanisha Khoury, and Mikey North. I can't remember who else was there at that time. And Millie kind of leapt up and flung her arms around us and said, "Oh, it's so nice to see you again," and stuff. And then Tanisha got up and gave us a hug as well. And it was great to be able to...
I did hug her first. I felt like...
Did you?
I just got into the habit. I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry, lovies. I'm just one of those
I've
huggers.
hugged so many people this week. It's been lovely. And Tanisha was great because we've obviously had we talked on the podcast before. She's come on for an interview and we've seen her by Zoom, but it was nice to chat with her in person. Mikey North was like, "What are you doing there again?"
This is so cool. He was like, "What are you guys doing?
Nicest,
You're gonna be here."
Mikey North is the nicest guy,
and
he's one that I believe genuinely is nice. Not certainly these other,
but he's
two
also
ones,
cool.
But the fact that he doesn't need to see us and say hello more than once, but he has come to say hello to us many times. Well, more than once or twice this week. So he's really, really nice guy, and sort of gave me a handshake and stuff. And we didn't really talk to them that much, particularly Tanisha and Mikey after that, did we?
No, he was like, why are you here? What are you hanging around for? And we were like, we're only here for the week. He's like, I thought I would be seeing you all the time. It's like, if
only. So we saw Georgia and we went over and stood by her and we just stayed by her for most of the evening, and you kind of said, I hope we're not monopolising you, didn't you, at one point? But she was very nice about it.
Well, that would be the worst thing, to think that somebody felt like they had to talk to us.
Yeah, no, but she's our friend, so I thought she
No, I know, but also I mean, we're not here all the time, but she can talk to us whenever.
Yeah.
There's lots of people there that she probably...
Yeah. So she was there, and there were lots of kind of lots of crew members there that we didn't recognise as well. So we got talking to... there was an electrician, wasn't there? Cookie and Dave from Lighting we talked to a little bit.
Yes, because he was in one of the booths while we were sitting in the directing booth. So he was in the lighting... No, sound. Was he sound?
He was lighting. I thought you said he was lighting.
Well,
no, he was definitely lighting.
He was in one of the booths.
Yeah, so that was cool to be able to speak to him. And then we just chatted with Georgia, and I had my lemonade, and you had your Negroni, and she had a mojito. And we chatted, and loads of other people turned up, most of which we didn't speak to or didn't say more than just a polite hello to. I was kind of my way of doing things, I can't remember the phrases, yesterday evening was I wasn't going to just go up to approach people and say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. You may know me from the podcast." I waited for anyone to come up to me or for me to be introduced to people.
Celebrities are like cats. Celebrities are like cats.
No, they're not. If they were like cats, I'd be going right up to them, tickling them under
the
chin.
No, that's because you're not very good with cats. You aren't. You don't understand cat etiquette. You have to let them come to you.
It's called cat etiquette.
You sit quietly and you don't stare at them, and then they might creep up to you. And then if they really get to know you well, you can stroke them on the head.
So, we got to see, Colson Smith was there, Ellie Leach was there. Tell you who was actually really nice and had a bit of a chat with us was Alex Bain.
Alex Bain is so sweet and adorable.
He was really lovely.
He was drinking a strawberry daiquiri.
Yeah, he was drinking a strawberry daiquiri.
And he was telling me about bolts in Croatia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really, really pleasantly surprised.
He would just seem like really chuffed to be out.
By Alex Bain being there.
Yeah.
Adam Hussein was there. We had a brief hello to most of these people. Were very, very brief hellos.
Well, they were there to socialise with
they didn't want to
people
talk to
that
us,
they knew.
Did they? Exactly. Nobody was curious. When it's rare podcast,
they just thought we were new. Like, who are these two dorks?
Yeah, basically that. Jane Danson turned up for a little bit, didn't we? Said a very, very little hello to her. Shelley King was there again, who we just keep bumping into this week.
I love
At the
her.
end of the evening, we went to say goodbye to Shelley, and I was like, I would say goodbye, but I'll probably bump into you again tomorrow. We didn't.
No, we didn't. No.
So yeah, she was there with Trilby. Yeah.
I love
her other half. And
Shelley's so lovely.
Shelley is flipping lovely.
And she was there
nice.
with Sue Devaney.
Yeah, she was there with Sue, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And that was another one like Tanisha that I wanted to be able to talk to in the flesh, having only Zoomed her back in December for the podcast. And that was somebody we talked to right at the very end. I went to say goodbye to Shelley, like I said, and then I said to her, "Look, can you introduce me to Sue, because she might not remember who I am." And she said, "Oh, this is Michael." And she was like, "Oh, yeah, that's nice." And we had another very brief chat. I was really happy that the Trilby, I said that you probably don't remember, but I met you 5 years ago at a quiz. And she's like, "No, of course I remember you." So that was quite nice to be remembered.
Are you're a distinctive person?
By Shelley King's other half. Kel Allen turned up halfway through, didn't she?
Oh, yeah,
I wasn't expecting to see her. I mean, it makes sense because I know that her and Millie have become good friends after being mum and daughter on Coronation Street.
Yeah,
So
it's really lovely
Lowry
to see her. And the weird thing is, I can never remember who I've met now, because them being on the screen and meeting them in real life, it kind of melds together. And I've spoken to a lot of them, but I haven't met some of them. But then when I see somebody, I'm always like, I don't remember if I've ever met you before.
Yeah, I know.
And also, lots of people don't know who I am. I know who you are. So
because I'm in the pictures.
who was it that was like, oh, I haven't met you before? It was Charlie, Jordan.
Oh yeah,
And
Charlie
she was like,
Jordan.
I was hiding behind a camera.
Yeah, that was at the set, wasn't it? She wasn't
Yeah,
at the party. Who else did we see? Nathan Graham was there, wasn't he? Football James.
Yep.
Bill Fellows you spoke to, but
Yep.
I didn't.
He did say, he said, oh, this is a really nice spot and you can see out over into the water. I was like, Bill Fellows.
The nicest, most lovely new person that I really, God, I just think is wonderful that we had to be able to have a chat with her, though, was Molly Gallagher. And I'd seen her around, but eventually she came up to the bar and...
See, Molly Gallagher is one of them people that I just think, oh, I won't talk to her because she's very cool. She, she's like goth chic, she's like too cool for me.
Yeah, but she's really not. She's also a massive geek like us.
She's like, oh, I love Corrie. We were talking about the tram crash episode. She said, I've watched that on YouTube. And I was like, have you seen the news reports? And she's like, no. I was like, oh, they made some news reports for it. It's really good. I'll send you the videos. And she was like, oh, that's amazing.
It was Georgia that introduced her to us, wasn't it? And we just ended up chatting for like 20 minutes or so. And she was just the loveliest, sweetest person. And she was saying, I've not had as much to do on Corrie this year. It was a big year last year and everything. And yeah, we did. We just talked about Corrie. She said that she'd listened to some of the podcasts. She said she'd like listen to them with the award shows, hadn't she? And some of the predictions.
She said we should do the predictions more often. I agree with her.
I do like doing those at the beginning of the year. But honestly, Molly Gallagher, what a little sweetheart. She was absolutely lovely. I already thought that she was great.
Already really rated her.
But oh my gosh, I was so chuffed to be able to talk to her. What a lovely lady she is.
Well, everyone was really lovely.
Everyone was lovely, but Molly was the one that stood and chatted to us for 20 minutes. And she was talking about, you're at a Corrie party. This is pretty good, isn't it? And we're like, yeah, we know. Tell us about it. We didn't have any plans at the beginning of this week, really, and now we're doing this. And she's like, oh no, you belong. You're part of the Corrie family and stuff. So lovely. So we
also saw Ryan.
We saw Ryan again, Ryan Prescott.
And you said, did you tell him you had your haircut?
I did. Well, this was when we were having the group photo taken, and he ended up next to me, and he looked down. Because I'm a little shorter than him. He looked
down.
Your
celebrity size.
Yes, and he's like, oh hello again. And I was like, hello, I'm back, and I said, look, I've had my haircut like you. He said you inspired me, and he's like, oh, that's nice.
Did it? Did you?
I said the same thing.
Do you think he was thinking it's not as good as mine though?
Probably. He probably was thinking that.
Do you feel like you've had a £30 haircut? I think it looks good. I
quite like it. I was told, I think Georgia told me it took 10 years off of me.
She did, yeah.
She must have thought I looked proper haggard before.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
God, there are some pictures.
Your sideburns, you've got faded now.
I know.
They're normally blunt.
I didn't know what to do when I was shaving this morning. I was like, where do I stop?
I know, you always get in trouble with your sideburns.
I don't understand them. But there were some pictures that did we say this earlier again? I've forgotten, that we took with Georgia at the end of the dinner at Annie's with her, that will not be appearing on the internet because I look bloody awful. My hair's all over the place, her tummy's pouting out and everything.
Yeah, see, now you know that's my problem. That's why I don't want photos, because of my sideburns.
We spoke to somebody from makeup, didn't we? I can't remember what her name was.
I was trying to be really good with names. I think I've done a good job, but I'm afraid did not remember what her name was. But I saw her earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And she was wearing a green tracksuit. She looked amazing. She was chatting to us. She was great. I really loved her.
It was lovely. It was just really, really, really nice, and it felt kind of normal. I've reached the stage now where I'm not going to go, oh my gosh, there's a lot of Corrie people there. They're just like normal people, really. But
some of them are like, celebs, and they have an aura.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, we were told that Jimmy Harkishan would be turning out, weren't we? And that would have been great, but he did not turn. I think scared. He went, because afterwards we didn't go to this because we're old and rubbish. They went along to some club or something or other, and I think he turned up there. So we did not get to congratulate the Devster on his amazing work on Coronation Street. But yeah, so we ended up leaving at I've lost track, 8:30 maybe, was it? Yeah, it was 8:30. And then we went home and watched Corrie and did the podcast and everything. But it was so lovely. So thank you very, very much to everybody who graciously allowed us to come to your special celebrity do. It was lovely. And come to the next one if we're about.
Oh yeah, no, I thought you meant come to the next party we're at. You guys are invited.
Yeah, you guys can come back to our
You're
house.
invited.
Gemma loves putting on parties.
I realised the other day I don't actually ever really entertain people that I haven't known for 20 years.
Well, no,
so.
exactly. Now's your time. All you need to do, we get a poster made up. Let's
I'll
stick
get
it
a
in the green
poster.
room in Coronation Street and say, just come down to Southampton. It's
I'll have
only
like a map.
5-hour drive away. And, and you can have some of
I'll tell you
Gemma's
what I'll
special
do.
cooking. It's lovely.
Tell you what I'll do. I will lay on a coach for you. If you fancy it, you come down. We'll have a couple of wee breaks. And I'll lay on a coach, and then you guys can.
Come. She's lovely.
You guys can. I'll set some tents up in the garden.
And it was just funny because when we got home and then we were looking on Googling, weren't we? Saying, has this party been picked up by the press?
I saw somebody put something on Twitter saying a picture, and I was like, oh. Yeah.
But there are lots of pictures of it, and Manchester Evening News and the Sun and everything now reports of it and saying this is what they're wearing and stuff. And I managed to sneak into one picture of it was Tanisha and Millie, and I was there in the background drinking some lemonade. But that was just put on Instagram. I didn't appear in any of the online press.
That's not fair.
No. But anyway, it was great. Thank you very much.
And again, I appeared in no photos, and I'm very proud of myself. And it almost is like, actually, I don't exist, and it's just Michael doing a funny voice.
It was really sweet of Molly, though, to say, who do you do it with? And I was like, it's just my wife, Gemma, and she's here. Because you went to the loo, didn't you? And she's like, I can't wait, I want to speak to him. And she comes back.
Really?
And yeah, and she's really excited to talk to you. And you came back, and I was like, is she? And she's like, oh, it's you.
That was really sweet.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was yesterday. Today is our final day, final full day at least. And was the tour the first thing that we did today? The first thing of note that we did today?
Yes.
Yeah. So we went to the Coronation Street tour, and there's a good story behind this as well. So it was the Star Tour. So we've been talking about these on the podcast recently.
Highly recommend them.
Yeah, it was cool. So you go around the tour. We're probably not going to talk a whole lot about the tour itself because we've done it before. It was very similar. We'll talk about some of the differences. Yeah. We've got older episodes about that. We'll talk about new things. Anyway, so they take you around the street, and when you get to the police station, when it's a Star Tour day, the tour guide says, I'd now like to introduce you to, and here's a celeb. So a couple of weeks ago, Chris Gascoigne did one, Julia Goulding did one as well.
Oh.
And we weren't sure about who it was going to be.
But we knew it wasn't Sally Carman.
We knew it wasn't Sally Carman.
Because she was going to be
because she was supposed to be next week.
Yeah.
So we had been told. So we get to about 2 hours before we were due to leave to go on this tour, and I get a text from Sally Carman saying, are you doing the tour today? Yeah, we're going in half an hour. And she's like, and then I said, why, are you doing the Star Tour? And she's like, oh, I am, but only at 3 o'clock.
I'm like, oh, God.
And I was like, oh, we've got our thing at
1:45.
We're going to miss it. We're just going to come just before you. Maybe they do someone else.
I thought it would
two
be
people
like a
in
morning.
a day.
Yeah,
a morning and an afternoon thing.
The afternoon
and we're
shift.
like, oh, that's such a shame. I was like, I wonder who it is.
And then we were like, oh, see if we can try and meet her before.
Yeah, we were trying to arrange to meet her before or after or whatever, but we couldn't. And anyway, we went along to the tour, and we might as well chronologically, what were the differences from the last time now, weren't they? The queuing system was just the same. Everyone waiting in different lines and people coming out saying, oh, this is the last call for the half past.
Yeah,
who's doing the half past group?
Yeah, but that's fine, honestly, that's fine.
It wasn't too bad.
And I think people get really ratty standing outside, but it's like, it's fine.
It's really hot.
It genuinely doesn't matter where you stand.
No,
don't worry if someone goes in front of you, because in a second we'll be in a massive scrum.
We didn't see anyone getting turned back or anything like that.
But just want to say that they've massively improved some of the organisation.
Because you had major problems with the herding paddock before last time, didn't you?
You might be interested to know, if security is one of your bugbears, that they actually did a much better job this time, like checking bags.
They checked my rucksack.
So well done, and he very thoroughly checked them.
I know.
He looked in all the compartments.
I'd taken along a Conversation Street water bottle in its box because we wanted to take some snaps of it on the cobbles.
Well, we also
put those on
wanted to give it to...
Yeah, we also wanted to give it to somebody.
Sally.
Well, Sally Carman, yeah, we took it to
Spoiler,
give it to Sally
it
Carman.
was Sally Carman.
It was Sally. You probably know this at this point. We worked it out as the time went on, like, because when we went in, he's like, and this is a 90-minute tour. And we're like, did our maths? Oh, we probably will get to see her, and maybe there weren't any Star Tours before us.
Anyway, looking in the bag.
Yeah, we're looking in the bag, and he was like, "What's this?" And it's a bottle, and he made me take it out the box, and then he was lifting all the flaps, and I think very good security. And then the other problem.
And I said to him, "You're very thorough,"
and
he was like, "Yes, I know."
And then they were selling drinks there, weren't they? Which they weren't.
They did.
They didn't
right.
have before.
So listen,
they had seats.
The improvement in the waiting area is amazing because you're not in a massive corral of grumpy people. The toilets have been moved, so you have
No one tried to run us over.
You have to go in through the gates to get to the toilets, but then you come straight back. And there is there's like a little hut, like two level containers, isn't there? And the bottom one is like a little tiny shop for like drinks and snacks and things.
Yeah.
And then the upstairs one, I think, is where all the people hang out. What are they called? Tour guides.
Yeah, tour guides. Yeah.
And so they've got seats now for people who might need to sit down, which I think is a very good idea because there's lots of different age ranges of people that like Corrie, and some of them like to sit down.
I sat down on a grip
yeah, you
box.
did. So well done. I'm chuffed to see that the kinks have been ironed out a little bit, and I'm no doubt that once the visitor centre gets up and running, everything will be incredibly slick and smoothed out.
Yeah. So we had Alfie the tour guide, didn't we?
We did. Got to give a shout out to Alfie,
who did a very good job.
I introduced myself to. He had no idea what I was talking about because we were going to be with another tour guide who listens to the show, and so I thought for some reason that this tour guide had mentioned something because he knew that we were going to be with Alfie. So I thought, he must have said something. So I went up to him. I was like, "Hi, I'm Gemma." And he was like, why do I care? And then
he said, "I don't know who you are."
The reason was I wanted to... Did he say that?
Something like that.
I don't think he did.
I don't remember.
But I wanted to talk to him because we didn't know whether we would need to leave the tour early to go and see Sally before she popped out somewhere. So I went up to him and I said, "Oh, do you know who the tour is, to the star is?"
You also said, "Is it the same person all day?"
That's right, yeah.
And this is when we were starting to realise, okay, maybe we
and
will
he
get
was
to
like,
see Sal.
"Oh, I don't know who it is." And I was like, "Well, I won't spoil it for you then." But he was lying.
He was like, he knew
and
who
he
it
knew
was.
all along. But
you go on one of these Star Tours and they tell you they don't know who it is, it's a lie, they do.
But that was really awkward because we were both talking at cross purposes, and I felt really embarrassed.
You were a bit embarrassed at the beginning, weren't you? Anyway, he did the same kind of tour as we had. I
didn't expect him to know who I was because I do a podcast. I just thought that he had spoken to Rory, who was the person who was going to do our tour, but he didn't. I mean, why would anybody talk about that?
I was going to say something there, but I forgot
Sorry.
what it was.
We started off doing the tour.
Oh yeah, no, he was making some jokes about his name being Alfie, didn't he?
That was really funny.
He was like saying, "Don't worry, Abby, Kevin, and Jack know that I'm out," and he was making jokes about. Oh, what did he say?
He said they film it.
Sam says they film it 6 to 18 years in advance.
Yeah, because now I'm at university.
Yeah.
He was really funny.
He was good.
He was really funny. He knew what we were talking about. He said lots of really detailed stuff.
And there were some references to things that have happened just this week.
Yeah.
Because they talk about Alf's mini mart when they said, Alf got a shout out on Coronation Street just a few days ago, and when they got round to Toya's flat, he mentioned about Spider worming his way in there at the moment. So that was cool, nice and up to date. It's good that they change it.
He was very funny off the cuff as well as being funny in his his scripty.
Yeah, he was great. So we went round the street. Eventually getting our way round to the police station, and by this time it was 3 o'clock, and I was like, we know it's going to be Sally Carman at this point. And then she came out, and I was like, "Whoa, Sally Carman!" And she's like, "Hiya, hello." And what was it she said? It was really funny. She said, "You may not recognise me because I'm not crying."
Love that.
Great.
And also, who was there too was Dave, the security guard.
Dave, the security guard was there.
There's 2 celebs out here tonight.
He recognised us. He gave us a thumbs up. Security Dave.
When he came out, he did.
No, when we went in later.
Well, when we went in, you see, right, so just say what happened. So she was like, "Hello, everyone," like, "Hi," and talking to people and stuff. And then she's like, "Right, everyone has photos. So what you do is you all queue up, you go in one group and out. So we're not all crowding around." And Dave's like the security, standing there. And so you go in.
We were also told we weren't allowed to hug her. We had to fist bump. Because because you
Well,
can't,
yeah,
you
of
don't want to
course.
risk crushing a celebrity.
They're very delicate. They're like sparrows.
Yes.
So yeah, you go in and there will be a tour guide who takes the photo for you with the phone. You're not allowed to take any videos or photos yourself. No. Went in there and I deliberately made us the last two because Sally knew we were coming, and also didn't know what reaction if she would have, and I didn't also want people behind us to be like, oh, okay, well they did that, so I can do that. I didn't want to make an awkward situation for anybody. So
we got to the back of the queue, and then somebody came in after
us. This lovely lady, I think she was called Anushka, and she was so glam and wonderful. She told us later that she had her wedding photos taken on the old set.
On the Key Street set, when it was
closed, when she had
her...
her...
the pictures, didn't she?
She had her wedding in St John's...
I can't remember.
You know the hotel that's there, opposite?
Yeah.
Great Street, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember what it's called.
I can't remember exactly what it's called, but she had it in there, and she didn't even watch Corrie. And then her mother-in-law, I think, went out. She might be listening, so I've got to be careful to get it right. I probably have got it wrong already. So she came. Somebody went out and talked to the security guard and can we have wedding photos on the street? And it's like, yeah, come on, photo you do. So they all went in, and she's got all these photos of her outside the Rovers with this beautiful wedding gown on. She looks so glam. But I said, you go in front of us. She's like, oh, thank you. Oh, how come? And I was like, well, we sort of know her, so I wanted to go last. So when we went in last, Sal was like, ah!
And I started to walk up to her. I was like, I probably can hug her, even though we were told not to hug her. And as these thoughts were processing through my brain, she kind of flung her arms out around me. It's like, oh, okay, we are hugging.
Yeah. And also, I said hello to Dave again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Dave, you're blessed. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm blessed. Are you blessed? I was like, I'm blessed,
isn't it?
And
Sal was just, I'm so pleased you're able to come. It's so nice and everything.
Then
we were in there for
I felt like
30 seconds to a minute. I don't know.
I felt like Dave was like her scary dad, and we were taking her out on a date or something. Because we brought the bottle out of the bag, and I said, "Can we give you something?" And then I sort of showed it to Dave first, like,
did you?
Can I give this, please? And he had a look, and he was like, I had the look, and he was like, yes, you may, yes. You got to get Dave's approval.
She knew what the bottle was because she'd seen George's, hadn't she? So we said, you're in a very exclusive group here, Sam Carman.
Yeah, so don't worry, Julia, yours is on the way.
Yes, yeah. And so it's just she took the bottle, and she was very pleased with the bottle. As she said she was.
She would, again, acting.
Yeah.
She's like, wow, a bottle! What? It can keep hot things hot.
At the time of recording, I have not seen her
cold.
posing with any pictures of the bottle, so I don't know.
Is Joe going to pose with the bottle? Or is it going to go straight in the bin when he sees it?
Yeah, what's Joe going to do?
You're not having that in the house.
Yeah.
Keep it in the car.
Hate me.
You can keep it in the car if you want it.
Do not hate Joe Deteen. Gemma jokingly dislikes Tim. And it doesn't go any further than that.
No, we're not in a proper feud.
No, we are not. Anyway, and then we were ushered out the side of the police station, and she's like, bye, thanks for coming. Oh, it's so nice that you could come. It's like, yeah, we know, it was really nice. And then we went around the rest of the tour, didn't we? And that's when you talked to Anushka and kind of you were explaining to her about the podcast and stuff.
Yeah,
and
she subscribed.
She did subscribe, yeah. She's
unsubscribing very soon. And she also told her about the precinct just to prove my credentials.
Oh yeah, we took a few precincts.
If you look through that hole there, you can see something that's a secret.
So then we got it finished, and went to the gift shop place. I think they had some new stock, or maybe there was just some that hadn't been there before, or we just didn't see it.
We didn't see the souvenir booklet last time.
I'm sure I've seen that souvenir booklet before, but there was a tea towel I didn't recognise, so we got one of them. There were some magnets that I don't think I recognised, but we got one of them as well, like one each of them. What else did we pick up?
Mug.
Oh yeah, a mug that we hadn't got before as well. So I went into the gift shop, and
exciting, wasn't it, everybody?
Yes, I went into the gift shop and I said, Gemma, we're not going to spend anything that we don't need to spend money on it, and we still ended up
68 quid.
Yeah,
we got fleeced.
Yeah, but
it's not fleecing. It's
purchases.
Fun. I would definitely recommend that you bring extra money for stuff in the gift shop because some of it's really cool. I personally really like in-universe merch.
Yeah.
I don't want something that says, here's a logo of Coronation Street, especially like you said about Coronation Street, the tour. I don't want that.
The mug said Coronation
I want a
Street,
Rover's
didn't it? Not the
Return
tour.
beer mat. I want, I want Roy's Rolls apron, or
Yeah, and
I'll tell you what else I would love.
What?
A co-op bag.
Corrie co-op bag.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then we went off, and that was the end of our Corrie tour experience.
Said hello to Alfie again, and he was like, What were you? Why did you come up to me again? And I was like explaining. He was really nice. I told him he did a very good tour, because he did, and he was very friendly.
And somebody went up to him and said,
"Oh yeah,
are you really Sally Carman's son?"
Well, because he was making a joke.
He made a joke about saying when Abby, in inverted commas, came out, and he was Alfie, and was like saying, "Look, it's my mum, Abby." And then somebody went up to him and said, "Is she really your mum?" He's like, "No." That was quite funny. And then as we were walking out, there was a tour group just about to come in, and they were going to do the Star Tours as well. And I made a joke to Gemma that I would say it was somebody who would maybe not be as exciting as Sally Carman, but I didn't.
No one's as exciting as Sally Carman.
Literally,
not on a Saturday afternoon.
I don't think anybody, literally, I can't think of anyone that I would have been more happy to have seen. If you could have said, who's your number one choice to be your Star Tour guest?
Crap all over everyone else.
Everybody else, but I think it's
Sally
Sally
Carman.
Carman.
It's because Sally Carman is like on our bingo chart, because of all the people that we really, really love and have briefly spoken to and really rate as characters. And so yesterday when we went to the party, we pretty much filled up our bingo card, and she was the only one because she's not around at the moment, is she? So we thought, we've missed out on being able to see her. That's a real shame.
Well, I texted a week and a half ago, I think, and said that you're up in Manchester when we're up, and she said, "No, I'm not. We're away at the moment." But so she must have just
we don't
come
know
back.
what happened.
No, don't know. So I was not. I did not go into this holiday expecting to see
exactly. So that's why we were so excited
lovely.
to see her.
Mega
She's
chuffed.
lovely, and she looks so cool.
And we didn't talk about these things either. I didn't talk about it at the party. More opportunities for our replacement Imran. So it started off with me taking his desk when we went to have a look around Coronation Street, the sets. Then I had dinner with Georgia. We were doing that raspberry stuff. And then when we went to Millie's party, I was like, we need to make a family portrait. So we got a photo of me and Georgia and Millie, like we're the proud parents of our foster daughter. And then when we thought, well, Sally Carman's going to be here, I was like, you're going to be the fourth and final bit of being Imran. I'm now going to go off with Abby Webster. And I was like, I'm going to stop there.
Father
because
and
the
child.
next stage is fatherhood and car crash. I don't fancy that, actually.
No.
And then we went home and made a funny little video.
I tell you what, you must ensure from now on, now you've got to this stage.
What?
Never get in a car with Georgia Taylor.
I know. Especially not if she's mad with me, or if there's if I'll get any dark secrets.
Might be some tension.
Yeah.
We best avoid it.
Yeah, I know.
And then we saw a mural today.
Oh yes, we went into town afterwards, didn't we? And we had a little look round. I wanted to go and see this mural in the northern quarter that we've known about pretty much ever since the podcast
we've been to
started.
this building like a couple of times, and I didn't know
it's kind of hidden round the back.
Side.
I until fairly recently thought that this mural wasn't there anymore, which is why I haven't been like hunting it down every time that we've been. But there's this little like mosaic, isn't it, with Hilda Ogden and Albert Tatlock and Bet, and I can't remember who else is there.
There's all these panels of like significant cultural things, and there's a whole thing of Corrie stuff.
Yeah, so we took some pictures out there, so that was quite nice to see. And then we came home.
And now we're here. We've got a pack, and it's
Saturday evening, 9 o'clock. We need to have our tea, we need to pack, and we need to tidy. I'm just kind of hoping that if we don't do that, we won't have to go home, but I don't think it works.
I hate to say this, but we cannot afford to live here.
Oh gosh, I'm just so sad. And I get mega sad every time. I don't think there's any other feeling that's quite the same sort of sadness. I'm not saying it's like, if I put this next to when my mum died, that this is sadder. But
what are you talking about, you lunatic?
But there's a special kind
it's
of
a
sadness
similar feeling
that my body reserves for every time we have. No, I'm I'm not saying it's a similar
That's
feeling.
making me
it's a different
sad
type
now.
of sadness.
Okay, it's not the same.
No, it's like
But it's almost
I've
as
had
bad.
a really, really lovely time, and now it's over, sort of
I know.
sadness. And we gotta go. And,
Well,
and
it's
I'm
been
not
so
looking forward to
lovely.
going back home and seeing the cat and everything. But it's
been so lovely,
such
and it's
a
because of the
lovely week.
people.
Yeah.
And it's the people, all the people that have been so lovely to us, and really, really made this a special week for us. We really, really appreciate it. We'll never forget all the lovely things that you guys have done for us. And also, I want to say thank you to all the listeners, because you are the reason that we've been able to do all this stuff. And all of your support and all of your nice wishes and likes and stuff, and you guys enjoying the content that we're making this week, that is really special to me. I'm so glad that we were able to put stuff together for you.
I mean,
because like I said before, we were worrying like, we're going to be able to have anything to talk about.
Literally, at the beginning of the week, we thought we may not have anything to talk about because we had no plans for the week apart from this tour when we came up
so we
earlier
wanted
this week.
to have
and
something for you.
Very glad we let it free, and it just kind of
I hope
great
you
things
guys
happened.
enjoyed listening to all the bits we've got up to in Manchester.
If you were to tell us a
Salford.
week ago what we would have been getting up to this week, I don't think I would have believed it. If you just said, "Oh yeah, you'll get to go into the set, see some things filmed,
go to a
party hosted by one of the actors on Coronation."
And the main thing about it was that we stayed at the party as long as possible, because we know what happens if you don't.
What?
You get bludgeoned to death.
Should have stayed at the party, yeah.
You get bludgeoned to death by Richard. See, everyone else left, and we were like, that's a mistake.
and
we're going to stay here forever.
Some of the things that we saw in the filming, like if you were to have... you will not...
You will not believe what we saw.
Them.
You will not believe what we saw.
I've seen some people guessing about what's going to happen.
Do it. No,
but
you will never guess. Not now, you won't.
There is one thing we saw that nobody will guess right now, and one thing we heard about that nobody would ever guess right now, both of which I'm very excited to be seeing on screen.
Are you excited? Because you bloody well should be.
Right. So, I think this epic podcast is finally over, Gemma. We've had a lovely time.
It's over. It's done with. We have to move on. It's like a fairy story. They all lived happily ever after.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody, for listening or watching or however you've been enjoying this. Hope you've been enjoying it. It's taken a long time. But we're going now.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you. Bye.